Hey everyone, Trevor at Top Loaded Gaming. I'm joined with my buddy Jason at Overthink Gaming, and
What's
the
up,
guy that's with us,
motherfuckers?
the guy that's with us right now, really needs no introduction. He's the man, the one, the only, Bithead1000. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Glad to be here. It's an honor to be here. This is my first podcast. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Trevor, you're the man. You're the man, brother. You're the man.
I
Me and
definitely
you,
thank you for coming on,
me
man.
and you go way back. You're my. This guy called me up on the phone. I don't talk on the phone. He called me up on the phone and we had a really nice conversation. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And then I never talked to you on the phone again.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it went.
Because I was too chicken. But listen, then we text back and forth. Trevor's a solid dude, man. Solid dude all around.
I appreciate it. Great
guy to know. My wife always tells me, "Who's this? What are you doing? Fucking this guy?" Because we're always talking. She's jealous of how much we talk together. That's what I got to deal with.
And he's told me that he's not making it up. He's told me before. We'll be texting and he's literally in bed, and she's like, "You texting your fucking boyfriend? What's going on here?"
Yeah.
Hey,
I have friends I don't text anymore. Friends I've known all my life. But
yeah, Trevor
talked
couldn't
to
even
Trev.
let me take a shit, man. It bothered me earlier, man. I'm like, dude.
I was trying to troubleshoot the show. Come on, dude.
I was just about to say, man. I was like, dude, I'm eating. Dude, I'm doing this. Like, god damn, motherfucker. Nah,
and
but
anybody
Trevor,
that's
dude.
able to smoke in their own home is the type of guy I want to know.
There you go. I don't
That's a-
care. Everybody's on my ass about it. How could you got this big collection? How you gonna smoke in there? Everything's gonna smell the smoke. It's my
that's
shit.
That's the way it should be.
It's my shit. I'm not planning on getting rid of this stuff. Maybe if I have to every now and then, but no, I plan on keeping this shit for the long haul.
If I was gonna buy a game, and two people had the game, one came from a smoker's home and one came from not. I'd order one from the smoker's home. I'm not kidding you. I just want to smell it when I open the box.
Oh man.
If I don't smoke normally. I smoke on occasion. But I love anything to do with smoke. It's the best.
So here's something I've been really meaning to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
On your channel, you tell these great stories. You're a really funny guy. So, who are your favorite comedians?
My favorite comedians. I grew up. My parents had two VCR tapes, and one was Gallagher. I don't know if you're familiar with Gallagher.
Yep. Smashing all the watermelons and shit.
And Eddie Murphy, Delirious.
Oh yeah, that's.
And I would watch them over and over and over and over again. And after Delirious, it was Howie Mandel.
Oh really, Howie Mandel? That's
Howie Mandel. Yeah, everybody's used to seeing Howie Mandel on. I don't know what's the cockamamie show he's on now.
I don't.
He's on a bunch of cockamamie shows, but he was the real deal comedian. This guy was on I don't know the biggest sack of cocaine you could imagine. He was the most hyper guy you've ever seen on stage.
All the best of them were though, right? All the best were on cocaine at some point in their life. I mean, George Carlin's my guy, and that guy. That guy was into
George
coke.
Carlin turned into a gem. I don't know too much George Carlin. But I so appreciate him in his old age.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love how angry he got.
He got so much better as time went on. It was just like everything he did just got better and better and better. I agree 100%. But
yeah, but he's like the athlete of comedians.
right.
Just some of those bits that he would put together and string together was like, wow, this guy really seemed like he enjoyed his craft,
Right. Absolutely.
Even though he's really fucking pissed off.
Do you get a lot of people that compare you to like Bill Burr? Is that a comment that you get a lot that you notice on your channel?
People say that a lot. I guess maybe because from Long Island.
I think
I don't know.
yeah, it's most likely just the accent.
It's being an angry guy from the Northeast.
Right.
It's impossible not to be angry here. Everybody's fucking angry here.
I gotta make it out there at some
Jason,
point.
where are you from?
Dude, I'm from Texas, but I went to the Northeast and I worked there for 2 months, and it was the worst 2 months of my life. I wanted to come back. But I was in all the New England states, upstate New York. I fucking hated it, dude. I wanted to come back. I was all, dude, I can't stand it here.
You're very smart. You probably have a high IQ. Because everybody I talk to, my cousin, he went down to South Carolina with nothing. He went down there with nothing. He was like, let me give it a shot. Now he's got a house. He's got a couple cars. He's got motorcycles. He's shooting guns out of his back door. He's so happy, and he never wants to come up here now. And I asked him, but you ever think about coming back to New York? He's like, I'd rather have a tumor behind my eye. And I can't get out of this hellhole. I want out of here so bad, I can't even tell you, but I'm anchored here.
Really? I guess the grass is always greener, right? Because I wish. No. Just everywhere. Green. It is greener.
It's greener everywhere but here. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, that's my perspective.
I know it.
Yeah.
That's my perspective here.
City, though. I was all around New York, but not New York City. I'm probably not missing out on shit, but I still want to go, man. Hopefully this summer or sometime.
Well, if it's anything now like New Orleans, let me just say, I mean, I live not far at all from New Orleans, and New Orleans is, and I'm not trying to talk shit to New Orleans, but everywhere you go in New Orleans, it stinks. It fucking stinks. It's like people take a shit on the street.
It literally
they vomit.
Stinks.
It's all piss everywhere.
Is that how it is in New York?
When I went to let me explain my first experience going to Bourbon Street. Me and my friend took a cross-country trip. And I already had enough of this guy. We went across the United States, down California, and back across, and we got to Louisiana. And I was ready to leave this fucking guy I went with, all right? He was giving me a hard time about my drinking.
Right.
Because I was drinking tequila like it was iced tea. I was like, all right, we're on a trip here. But anyway, he's smoking like one bale of reefer after another. I got no problem. You don't hear a word out of me.
Oh, wow.
But he's got a problem with my drink. Anyway, we get to Louisiana, and we get there around 1 o'clock in the morning. We drove like 15 hours straight through like Texas, Arizona. I don't know what we were doing. 15 hours straight. Driving through Texas is a nightmare, by the way. Yeah. This is like driving through
let me just say that the saying is the best thing to come out of Texas is I-10. Which is the best, that's the interstate coming out of it.
So we get into Louisiana, we get a hotel room. He's exhausted. He wants to sleep. I said, "Listen, I'm not sleeping. We're leaving tomorrow. I got to see Bourbon Street." I went down to Bourbon Street. Number one, it does stink. But this was like the Wild West. I walked down the street and I was just like looking around. It was like a movie. I was walking down the street. It is the wildest place I've ever been. There were fights breaking out. There were fights that were like tornadoes going across the street. Like an arm would come out here, a leg would come out, like the cartoons, and they would roll across the street. And then there were girls on balconies that were lifting up their tops. I was like, "Huh, what? There's a guy doing heroin over here in the corner." Like seriously,
that's Bourbon Street. That's Bourbon Street, 100%, and it stinks. It stinks like a motherfucker.
And if you make a wrong turn, you go down the wrong block. Oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah,
you're in trouble.
Shit will escalate. It will escalate fast if you go down the wrong alleyway on Bourbon Street. Yeah, you got to be.
Yeah, it's one of the most exhilarating and scary places you can be. I think that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
And as you walk down Bourbon Street, it's like when you have an old-fashioned radio and you turn the tuning knob, you hear music change, like jazz, classic rock,
Yeah.
blues, Zydeco, which is awesome, by the way. It's such an energetic style of music, and the dance is incredible. And then you hear all these different types of music. You're like, oh my god, this place it's unreal.
Yeah.
I wanted to go there so bad because I'm not sure if you guys saw that show Bar Rescue, but there was a guy on the show. Basically, he gets a bar and he basically.
I love the fucking show. I'm sorry, Jason.
Yeah, but they did a show there on Bourbon Street, and they did the bar because the guy he was trying to copy some other bar and he was being too much like it. So they revamped it. They put like this barber chair there and all this. Well, my friend went to Bourbon Street, and I'm like, dude, did you check out that bar? Because we've talked about that show before. He goes, dude, it's all torn to shit, man. That barber chair is all ripped up. It's like all shitty. It went to like shit compared to what was on the show. So now I think of Bourbon Street as the shittiest place ever. Can't have anything nice. So
that's Bourbon Street, man. And then you walk a little too far, and then you're in the gay section. It was like, and I did walk a little too far, and I'm like, boy, everybody's so friendly around here. Dude, at the time I went to Bourbon Street, all right, I was dating this Haitian girl, and she was here in New York. I went down there for a bachelor party, and I went into a voodoo. Voodoo's like a thing down there, right?
Right.
Trevor's like, no.
I mean, I don't.
Well,
it exists. They have people down here into that shit heavily.
Right. So I went into the shop, and the shop was the real deal, man. And I said to the shopkeeper, creepiest guy alive. I said, hey, man. I said, hey, I want to get something for my girlfriend. He goes, here, take this idol. And it was like something out of like Indiana Jones. He goes, take this idol. He goes, this is the idol of what is it when you want to be faithful to your girlfriend? It's the idol of
shit.
What's the fancy word for being faithful?
Yeah, monogamy.
Maybe loyalty or something like that. I don't know.
Whatever word we're missing, right?
Yeah. So check it out. I bring this idol back to New York, and I go to her apartment. I walk through the door. I say, here's a gift. I got you from Bourbon Street. She takes one look at it, and she pushes me by the chest out of the apartment. And she goes, we do not play with anything like that. And the next time I had dinner over her mother's house, her mother took me into another room, and she sat me down. And this woman didn't speak any English, like thick Haitian accent. She explains to me how that we don't play games with voodoo.
right. Because at some point that Chucky doll is gonna come for you at night. Because it's 100% real.
It was the idol of fidelity. You understand? I said, if you ever cheat on me, and I'm not a jealous guy, but it was like a joke. If you ever cheat on me, you're cursed.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So
I can see.
And
I can see.
Her mother was so fucking spooked. She was spooked by it, but her mother, woo! I thought she was gonna drip candles on me or something like that, cut a lamb open.
Jesus, that reminds me of a story when I was a kid, man. Home Alone had came out, right? Now, I'm 10, 11 years old when Home Alone comes out. And you know how you're that age, you're impressionable, whatever. Well, there's the part in the movie, how does it go? I'm trying to remember exactly how the part goes, but he says something like it was the mom. The mom said something like, I'm going to get home to my son even if I have to sell my soul to the devil himself. Yeah, she says that at some point in the movie. And I'm like misbehaving, and my mom's like fussing me, this, that, and the other. They probably trying to work on the bills or something, like that, something serious or something. And she keeps having to fuss me. I'm running around doing all kinds of retarded shit. And finally, she's like, go on your knees in the fucking hallway. And it was completely dark, fucking blacked out dark. And I'm like 9, 10 years old. I'm fucking terrified to be in the fucking dark. So I'm like, no, listen, I won't be I won't be bad again. If I'm bad again, I'll sell my soul to the devil himself. And like we were raised Catholic, right? I'm not religious anymore, but at the time we were raised Catholic. I believed in all that stuff, and oh my God, my mom was like, "You just sold your soul to the devil? You gonna play with your soul?" Holy shit, dude! It was like nonstop shit. It was a huge deal.
Were you like, Mom, I'm 10?
Right. No, she was concerned for my soul, so it was like it was on. She had to protect her son from the devil at this point. You better make sure you're not bad again, because otherwise you're going to fucking hell.
Just some Hail Marys, your soul is cleansed. Man. You're good. I grew up Catholic too, dude. So it was
Now,
to
her credit, about 3 or 4 in the morning, she finally was like, "All right, it's over. It was nothing. It's fine." Because I was like waking her up in the middle of the night, like, "Is it the next day? Am I free of this shit?"
Yeah,
So,
when you're trying to get some sleep, forget it. Yeah, your soul's fine. Don't worry. Go back to bed.
Go back to bed. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
So for anybody that doesn't know out there, Bithead runs this. Jesse here runs this channel called Bithead1000, right? How long have you been having this channel up, Jess?
10 years, brother. This is my 10th year.
Now,
10 years and 17,000 subscribers. What an accomplishment, huh?
Hey, more than the 600 I fucking got, that's for sure. So, were there any channels before that? Were there any like attempts at channels before this one?
No,
right?
No. This was it. This was it.
What pretty much pushed you to like start a channel? What do you think?
I was watching Classic Game Room.
Okay.
And it was basically Classic Game Room with I forget the guy's name. He's not around anymore. I don't know what happened to him. But I still love watching his show. Even though he used to piss me off because he loved the sound of his own voice. And he used to put this what I thought was a phony inflection on his voice.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Where he would slow it down. I could tell right away this guy was obsessed with baseball announcers.
Yeah. He sounded real,
I don't know why.
like podcasty.
People that love to talk into a microphone. You know, he had a great microphone, and I think he just loved the sound of his own voice. But anyway, he would have this inflection on his voice, like he would say, like, and the PlayStation 2. He would talk fast and then slow it down, and I'm like, no, this isn't right. Something wrong here. But anyway, I liked the guy, and he knew his stuff. He was just like, and he would talk video games, old video games, newer video games, and then Happy Console Gamer.
Right.
And Happy Console Gamer was talking about TurboGrafx stuff. So I was like, oh my God, somebody's talking about TurboGrafx stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't even think anybody on this planet Earth knew about TurboGrafx.
Right.
And I said, geez, wouldn't that be an amazing thing to be able to talk about the TurboGrafx and introduce people to TurboGrafx?
Right.
That was the main thing. You know, I really wanted to. I grew up with TurboGrafx. I was trying to promote it to everybody. I mean, in school, I was trying to tell everybody about the TurboGrafx. It's better than your Super Nintendo. It's better than your Genesis, even though it wasn't. But I was just so in love with it, and I was like this, crusader.
Right.
And now I said, wow, here's my opportunity. I could talk about the TurboGrafx, maybe introduce somebody to the magic of the TurboGrafx because I loved it so much. So I was like riding the coattails of the Happy Console Gamer, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Well, to your credit, there's a lot of people out there, including myself, that you exposed a lot of us to the TurboGrafx PC Engine games.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
Exactly.
That's all I cared about.
Right.
That's all I really in the beginning. That's all I cared about.
So my son was downloading a game. That was the issue we were having. In the middle of this podcast that he knew I was doing, he started downloading a game, like 50 gigabyte fucking game. on Steam or some shit.
What? You didn't announce a lockdown on this. Listen, I told my wife and my.
I thought I did. I did.
I locked myself in the dungeon. I shut off the boiler. They're gonna be huddled next to each other like a pack of wolves tonight, laying in bed. I shut the whole shit down. I'm ready to tell the motherfuckers next door to turn down the fucking reggaeton.
No.
The guy next door to me is a reggaeton artist, big in DR right now. He's a star. I swear to God, he's a star. You got to see his videos. His videos crack me up because he's got all these women, like women. He's throwing money in the air. Meanwhile, he drives a fucking Uber. He drives a goddamn Toyota Prius, and his wife. His wife's like 400 pounds, and he's like walking. He's got all these chicks on his arm and whatnot. I said, I love this. I love it. I love it. Anyhow,
so I've got a question.
By the way, Trevor. By the way, can I show everybody my fucking microphone stand here? Look at this.
Sure.
Look at this. It goes in and it goes out. See this? Come on, man.
See that's classic Bithead right there. The dude.
Yeah.
Hold on. Why does it keep switching like that?
It's like Peewees Playhouse without the jerking off.
Dude, you're so creative. You have all kinds of shit, man. I know. I like the way your TV comes down in your room, man.
Fuck buying a boom arm like everybody else. Jesse's gonna build his own shit.
That was the original premise behind my show when I started. I wanted to make something that was gonna be like Peewees Playhouse. That was the whole idea.
That absolutely translates, I think. And I mean, with the actual theme, when you would drill your case for the games, made it a little more obvious. But I think it translated well, even without that little hint.
Well, I was gonna make it really over the top. Like, remember Conky?
I'm not sure what that is.
All right. Well, you probably didn't grow up with Peewees Playhouse. But
I did, but it was like
the robot that would
two.
Oh, that was the robot.
He would spit out the word of the day and everybody would scream. I was gonna have Cunty, which was gonna be like an enormous cunt with corn syrup dripping out of it, and I would reach into it and pull out the game of the day. And it would be like, it would come out with like corn syrup stretches all over it and whatnot. It would be real disgusting. I swear to God, I was gonna do it, but I was in my apartment at the time, and I'm like, what am I gonna get corn syrup all over the carpets, and I'm gonna have to pay for the fucking, the deposit? Anyhow,
the only thing I remember from Peewees Playhouse is like the chair, but I don't remember any names or anything.
Cherry,
the genie, the Mama Lick a High, Make a Hiney Ho, and Lawrence Fishburne being on the show.
Yeah,
the reason why I wanted to model my show after Peewees Playhouse, because I used what Peewees Playhouse represented was the cap on Saturday morning cartoons. In other words, you didn't get cartoons all week long back in the 80s. You'd have to watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
And then, which was like, your head could explode because you and your sister would come up and she would want to watch some stupid shit like My Little Pony. And you wanted to watch Dungeons and Dragons. So it was this wrestling match between fighting over the controller all morning long. But the cap was, once Saturday morning cartoons was over, your sister would fucking split. And then you'd watch Peewees Playhouse.
All right.
And then the end of Peewees Playhouse, which is the song I use for Raising the Cabinet at the end of the show, represented such a sad moment in my Saturday because it meant cartoons were over, Peewees Playhouse was over, because I loved it so much. And it meant that I had to go out and weed the garden because that was my chore. I had to go out after Peewees Playhouse. My father would say, get out from in front of the fucking TV and go weed the garden. And I used to hate weeding the garden. So it was so sad. So that song is it touches the soul,
Right. I got you.
But can I just tell you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
But can I just tell you? Later in my life, I got really high. I smoked a joint with my buddy, and then we went and watched Peewees Playhouse. And I gotta tell you, Let me tell you something. Peewees Playhouse was designed for hyper kids. You understand? I watched it and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? This is like out of control." I really recommend getting high and watching Peewees Playhouse. That's it.
I'm gonna have to try that one day for sure. The Operation Wallet Buster poster that you made, the original one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that, because that kind of reminded me of like almost the Goonies or Home Alone, or just something reminiscent of old school movies, kind of like in Home Alone, where he's building the master plan to take out the thieves coming in, or I don't know if you ever watched Toy Soldiers with who was that, Sean Austin. They take on the terrorists themselves, and it's just these fucking school kids or whatever. It's reminiscent of something like that. It just has this like 80s 90s feel to it.
And you know why, Trevor? It's by necessity. It's by necessity because I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to put it up on the screen in front of you. So I have to put it on something. So I said, all right, let me go out and get a blind from, it's not even a blind. What is it called? A fucking...
Is it a projection screen?
A shade,
or...
a window shade.
It's a shade. Okay.
It was a retractable window shade from Home Depot. And I wrote the games on it and the prices. It was out of necessity. And that's what the show's all about. There's no editing. I'm old school, you know what I mean?
Well, honestly, it feels a lot more authentic. It seems like it was done on purpose almost to me. It just adds to the authenticity of the show. For sure. It is
done on purpose, because who am I competing with? I'm competing with young guys. Let's face it. Video game channels now are run by young guys who have editing skills.
Right.
And they know their way around a computer.
Right.
I don't. So how am I going to get my message across? All right. It's going to be on a shade, because I'm a dope that can hang a shade in the shed.
Well, that's the saying that fans have come up with. What do they say? They came for the games and stayed for the stories. What, I forget how they word that exactly. But
I'm glad they're staying for something.
People like watch your channel, and they're automatically, the first time someone comes up on your channel, they're like, what in the fuck is this? It's not edited, it's not the traditional YouTube video or whatever. But if they actually stay and watch, you know what I'm saying, the personality that you have is so relatable, the stories that you tell are so good, they end up staying. It's
the only thing listen, Trevor, it's the only thing I got.
Right.
That's
works.
The bottom line. Listen, I watch some shows that are beautifully produced, and listen, everybody and their fucking mother can tell you Mike Tyson's fucking punch out code to get to Mike Tyson.
Right.
Everybody can tell you the code, the 30 life Konami code. All right. Yeah. So everybody can sit there and tell you the same shit.
Right.
But what am I gonna offer you that nobody else can?
Right. That's it.
My shitty life.
That's the game.
Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, as any young guy that has the best editing skills doesn't have the skills that you have, the stuff that you build. I mean, what a fire breathing Nintendo 64, a fucking fish tank, fucking aquarium, Super Nintendo, a fucking bowling ball with a fucking pussy on it. Like, dude, there's nothing. The skills that you have, your TV,
a fucking pussy on it.
Dude, everything. You got skills that people would trade their fucking computer skills. Young people these days can't do shit. We gotta buy fucking everything.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I'm gonna tell you something right now. The reason why I can do what I do today is, number one, because of Harbor Freight. Because tools are so cheap now. And everybody's got this spark of creativity. That's the wonderful thing about the human being. The most important thing we have is our creativity. And if we don't harness it, we've wasted our life. So my only thing is, listen, the only reason why I do my show is because I know there's a working class of individuals out there that are fucking miserable, and I'm one of them. So maybe I could do some. Listen, you understand what the working class guy goes through, and how he turns on a TV and he sees this phony fucking world.
Right.
And it's absolutely infuriating.
Oh yeah.
So maybe you could turn on to something where there's a guy doing something ridiculous, like putting a cunt on a bowling ball. I want to see it. That's the way I thought about it. I want to see a guy put a cunt on a bowling ball.
That was fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's what I did. But here's the catch-22. You put a cunt on a bowling ball, and YouTube doesn't promote your videos.
Right.
So there you go. So nobody gets to see it.
Yeah.
So
in that situation, the bowling ball is YouTube, because YouTube has turned into this massive gaping pussy. I mean, that's pretty much what YouTube is nowadays.
Oh, it's gone bad with algorithms and how it promotes.
It has to get to that next level. Listen, they're guys in charge of Google. They got to turn a buck out of this thing. So it has to. That's the thing about it. Listen, you're never going to get authenticity where there's money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're just not going to get it.
Yeah. But the only thing I worries me is that they're going to push out too many little guys and be too corporate if they, the rules keep going, money keeps going. It's just going to be like national TV, basically. You gotta stomp out the little guys. Everybody does it. eBay does it. Everybody does it. They can't sit there and pay everybody. Yeah, it's the truth.
They can't.
Yeah.
Listen, they'll sit there and tell you that it's because it's administrative things and this, that, the other thing they can't stay up on. It all comes down to they can't pay everybody.
Yeah. But the thing that gets me is like the regulations, and far as like it pulls out people being real and making videos how they want, because they're not gonna get promoted. It's more like people following the rules that YouTube wants you to. Basically, like no cussing, no doing this. Your videos aren't gonna be seen if you cuss, or if you talk about this. You can't even mention coronavirus now. Like they control. I don't know. I feel like that control fucking sucks, man. And it's just the direction to go, and we have to play by the rules or not, and I choose not to.
Well, Jason, you made a good point. Here's the thing. The majority of the public, I don't think they want authenticity.
Wow.
I don't know if you've been around the
people
masses
get
lately.
super.
Have you been in a break room lately and you listen to the shit people talk about?
Yeah, I work alone.
And you can't talk about everything. You can't. You'll get canned.
People want to hear their own thoughts regurgitated back to them.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you get a sense of the real world, because the world is fucking weird now, man.
But I also feel like if YouTube would call the bluff of these advertisers, I mean, what are they gonna do? Not fucking advertise on the platform? I feel like there's a way that it could work, but YouTube would have to call the advertisers bluff. That'd be the only way. That or another platform come up and we go through the motions all over again with this other platform.
Another platform.
Yeah, I say another platform because who's YouTube run by now? What's her name? Catherine Wood, or I don't know her name, man.
Susan Wabajak. Everybody says Susan Wojcicki.
No, I'm getting it mixed up with the fucking Star Wars one. But yeah, man.
Oh my God, Trevor, can you do me a favor? Can you blow smoke into the microphone? I just love to have it come through my headphone right now.
Yeah.
No, but you know what it is. Listen, listen. As raw as you think, maybe my show is. I tell you what, brother, I could get a lot rawer. And I would love to.
Right, I know damn well we could.
I think my saving grace is nobody's watching. So I think I can get away with some of the things I get away with because there's no audience.
Well, here's the thing: did YouTube really do anything to stop your couple videos? The fire breathing N64.
No. It's not about stopping it. It's about not promoting it.
So they didn't. You saw a clear difference between the acrylic NES one, and the aquarium and fire breathing one. You saw clear differences, obviously, with
clear differences. How is 930,000 to 60,000?
Right.
When clearly the heavy metal, in my mind, I'm stupid, so maybe I don't know anything. But in my mind, Heavy Metal 64 was way more compelling than a stupid acrylic Nintendo.
Yeah.
It had the spinning end. It had fire shooting out of it. What more do you want? Do you want me to make it take a dump?
I think fire's the.
No, I agree with
what more do I have to do? I'm so aggravated. You don't even know how much that pisses me off.
No,
and you know why? Because YouTube got behind the acrylic NES. They did. I saw it. I saw it happen. Because once the promotion stopped, the views stopped. How do you go from... We went to 900,000 over the course of maybe 3 weeks. And then from that end of that 3 weeks till now, maybe 15,000.
Wow.
So it was obviously promotion that got the video where it was.
Right.
So if I do the logic problem in my head, acrylic NES, all right, it's cool. 900,000 views. It got promoted. Heavy Metal N64, this thing, to me, was like a fantastic accomplishment.
Oh, it's great.
You know, I'll pat myself on the back. I'm not going to be modest here. That thing was fucking awesome.
Fuck no, I would be fucking bragging the shit out of it if it was me. Those were fucking great builds, man. Great ideas.
But 60,000 views, and here we go, Trevor. Only because this goddamn video game website promoted it. Some I don't know, somebody told me, you made it. You made it. You're on this video game website. I don't know what the name of it is. It's some funky name.
Oh yeah, I noticed yesterday.
Kotaku.
Oh, Kotaku covered it. I didn't realize that.
Kotaku did an article on it, so everybody was like, "This is it. You know, you've arrived." This, that, the other thing. Okay, 60,000 views, and
Man,
the only reason why it got 60,000 views was because Kotaku pushed it.
I'm gonna have to look that up because usually Kotaku, like, they're like the sleazy journalist that is gonna like look at your Brie Larson videos and be like, oh, this guy is not worth propping up. You know, it was a mistake that we even covered this guy. He's just some sexist or whatever. Like Kotaku is one of those people. But I'm gonna have to look that up. I wonder if they shat on you or if they were like embracing you or what. Did you? I mean, I'm assuming you took a look at it.
They promoted it. They promoted the Heavy Metal N64.
That's surprising.
Which was great. Which is great, but it's the only reason why it got to 60,000. Had they not have covered it, it would be lower than 20.
Right.
Lower than 20, and that is where we come to the Super Nintendo fish tank that only got 7,000 views. And that's the real fucking thorn in my side. Okay, that's the reason why I stopped building custom consoles. And I have some whoppers that I was about to build. But I'm like, fuck it, for who? For 6,000 views? Suck my dick. I'm not building anything else. No, honestly. For what? I'm breaking my ass. Listen, I'm breaking my fucking ass, man. When I come home from work, I'm going out there. I'm ignoring my kid. I'm ignoring my wife. I'm working on a fucking custom console to all hours of the night. To bring it out to 6,000 views? Oh, fuck you!
I get it. I get it. It's a lot of fucking work. It's a lot of fucking time vested.
Dude, do you know I was gonna make the gay cube?
Oh, what is the GameCube?
It was gonna be an acrylic GameCube with rainbow acrylic going through it, like around it, to make like this. Like diagonal rainbow through it would look gorgeous, like an inlay.
Oh.
And then because of the fact that the GameCube has a fan that blows right through the GameCube. I don't know if you know this. There's a fan on one side and there's holes on the other side, so the fan blows right through. I was gonna have a Ferris wheel of a bubble maker that would dip into a reservoir of bubbles, and the fan would blow the bubbles. Dude, the GameCube.
So you sent me a text, and I don't know if you'd want me to say this on recording, but you sent me a text of it, but you called it something else at the moment.
And I don't even want to mention the Sega genocide.
Dude, man.
Yeah, with guillotine cartridge loader.
What I can say is he's definitely not lying about the GameCube, for sure. For sure, not lying about it.
All I gotta say is, for sure.
Fucking lying. I got the design. I got the fucking design. I already know how I'm gonna do it. But I'm not gonna do it because what's the reward? What's the reward?
Yeah, I mean, not getting promoted by YouTube and feeling like you wasted your time.
Now, if I do the GameCube, you think YouTube's gonna promote that?
Fuck no. Fuck
Because
no.
it's interesting. Because it's fucking interesting. They can't. I understand. You know something? We love to
just
put
the fact that we're talking about it right now.
Put the blame on YouTube, but that's wrong. They don't care. They want to turn a buck.
It's the people.
It's people. It's the fucking people
that go
general
and complain.
Public that dictates how YouTube acts. So I don't blame YouTube. I'm very grateful for being able to project what I want to say across YouTube. I'm grateful for them. I'm not mad at them.
That's fair. It's absolutely the people that are shaping.
I'm mad at the country.
For sure. Well, one thing related to the consoles is I asked a few people to submit some questions on Twitter.
Did you just say consoles?
I may have. I'm a fucking.
That was Freudian slip. Play it back. Watch, he said consoles.
The consoles. So Smash JT asked, being we're talking about the consoles, have you entertained offers for the glass or acrylic NES, and what is a price that would convince you to part with it?
Oh, for the glass NES?
Right.
I thought about mass producing it. Because it's very simple. It's very simple. You're talking about, I need a laser cutter.
Right.
For that fucking stuff, it's not. If I was gonna mass produce them, I need a laser cutter. It's a $5,000 investment.
Right.
I'm not buying a fucking laser cutter. I can't even fit this goddamn Larry King microphone down here. I'm gonna have a laser cutter. But or taking it somewhere to have them cut all the pieces and almost make like a kit. That I ship it to you and you put it together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, the hardest part is doing.
I don't have fucking time. I don't have time for this, and that's not an excuse. I'm not using an excuse. Yeah, I can sit there and make game consoles, but I ain't gonna run a show.
Right.
And to me, the show is more important.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know, I got to do the thing that makes me absolutely no money.
Well, speaking of like your videos not getting, traction, the what was it, the aquarium SNES.
Oh, don't even start. You want to talk about I can go on and on.
I want to hear about the aquarium, the backlash or anything that people have told you because those live fish.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Do me a favor. Go on and watch people that do like fish tanks.
Yeah.
Anybody that shows their fish tank. There's 500 cocksuckers in the comments below that tell you there's not enough cubic feet in your fish tank.
Oh my god.
Those fish. That is an African gourami. He requires at the minimum of 8.5 cubic feet of water. Or to live in a healthy environment. Fuck you. It's a fucking goldfish that you buy for the goldfish costs 16 cents at PetSmart.
I'd love to see some of these
What kind of value
people.
are they putting on the life of that fish? These cocksuckers at PetSmart. Now, 16 cents per fish, and it's a feeder fish. In other words, you're going to feed it to another enormous monster of a fish. Yeah, nice life. I'd rather take my chances in a fucking Super Nintendo than get fed to another goddamn fish. Fuck you.
Has a
I'm
better
a humanitarian. I'm a humanitarian.
Oh, I never thought about it because I saw your fucking I saw the Super Nintendo. I was all, that's a fucking badass idea. That video and the fire one is one that you show your friends. I showed my friends like, dude, check this out. That's what it did. And I never thought about the other side of these side of people telling you this shit. So hearing this just made my day.
Oh yeah,
man.
there's another side, all right. These
Because
motherfuckers.
I recently made a Nintendo. I basically went with the Nintendo Switch, and I said, man, basically, I said that they were being pussies without saying it. And I wasn't that harsh. I just said they were entitled. That was the word I used. And I got so much backlash just off that. So I can imagine you hitting a whole different side of people away from video games, hitting the animal people. Oh my God.
I got news for you. I embrace the backlash.
Yeah.
Because at least maybe the backlash will get me more views. I don't care.
Dude, I love
just
backlash.
anything to get somebody to fucking watch the show.
Yeah. If on my channel, when I get backlash, I fucking laugh. I love it. I respond to them if I can. I don't have time sometimes. There's so many fucking people that comment, but I embrace backlash. Like,
I got news for you right now. People, I have had a guy said to me, "Do the thumbs down bother you?"
No.
And I say, if I'm not getting thumbs down, I don't have a fucking show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
You're not pissing somebody off. You're doing something wrong.
I'm getting, the better it is.
Yeah, it's all.
And I'm gonna say something right now. I got 2 cocksuckers that give me thumbs down every video I get. I almost know who they are.
Oh, me too.
I get 2 thumbs down immediately after. Explain to me, after I upload a video, I immediately get 2 thumbs down after every fucking video.
Yeah.
Dude, right now.
And I think I know who these cocksuckers are. But hey, fuck it. You know, I love them.
Yeah. Every video I put out right now, I think I get 6 thumbs down. Like right away, they have me on notifications. It's hilarious, dude. And now I kind of put on a pinned comment, like I call it out. But it's just like, whatever. It's all, they don't understand. That actually helps us out. Like, we don't give a fuck.
Listen, Jason, you know what the secret to a thumbs down is?
What's the secret?
You just look at it upside down. You stand on your head.
Fuck it.
It's great.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I laugh at that shit, man. It's hilarious. Or the one that's funny is the people in the comment that gotta let you know they're unsubbing. I'm like, who are you? Have we ever talked? I just that shit makes me laugh, man. But
like, one thing, you know, you care about your fans to a certain degree, you know, but when someone is like, you know, everything you've said up until this point, I've agreed with, but because you hold this one fucking opinion, I'm unsubbing. Good. Get the fuck off my channel. You know, if me disagreeing with you for one little fucking thing makes you feel so butthurt that you gotta come announce that you unsubbing, good, go. You know, that's fine. You weren't destined to watch my fucking channel. Like, what else can I tell you on that? That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, man.
So look, one thing I want to get into, Jesse, is your first video. The very first video that you uploaded onto the channel.
My goal here today is to start a video game review channel. I used to have a very substantial video game collection. Me and my girlfriend got into a huge argument one day, and the following day I went to work, and when I got home I went downstairs to my lair, and everything was gone. I confronted her about it, and she said she took all of it and she chucked it in a dumpster. And when I asked her where she threw it out, she wouldn't tell me. And I belted her in the face. And with the kind of luck I have, I wound up breaking her jaw and went to jail for about 1.5 years for it. It's appropriate that we start like this, just with the camera and just with me, because I got nothing. No video games. No TV.
This is a video that, to me, everyone that sees this video feels passionately about it. Maybe they get...
God, I wish you didn't say that. I wish you didn't say that, because that's a real... my first video is a real big problem for me.
Why so?
It's a real because I bullshitted on it.
So you you bullshitted on it.
Yeah.
But so what exactly is true about that whole thing?
What exactly is what?
What, like, where did you ever go to jail? I mean, that was just it was
No.
all.
Here's the thing. When I started my video game channel, I said, I'm just a fucking, what is it at the end of Goodfellas, right? When he goes, I'm just a schnook. What does he say? Like everybody else.
I can't remember. I've seen it 100 times. I can't remember what he says.
I said, I'm just a schnook here, and I want to start a video game channel. And I remember watching Arnold Schwarzenegger pumping iron and finding out that Arnold Schwarzenegger was full of shit on pumping iron. And I was like, oh, wow. You know, that was gospel to me. I believed it. And then listening to Steven Tyler this is right around the time I was about to start the show. Then listening to Steven Tyler do an interview, and he's like, fake it till you make it, baby. You know, and I'm like, yeah, fake it till you make it. This, that, the other thing. So I made up this story about how my girlfriend sold my video game collection, and I punched her in the face. Part of it was joking. Part of it was, I had this idea when I started my channel, like, when I hit YouTube, okay, people like, watch out. I was like the Joker. Wait till they get a load of me.
Right.
You understand? I thought YouTube had such a hole, and it was missing me. This is how fucking dumb I am. All right? This is how narcissistic I am. When I get on here, the subscribers, the this, the that, I had this dream in my head.
Right.
So I said, my first episode, this is going to be a bang. So I made up this story about how, you know, my girlfriend threw out my video game collection. We got into a fight. I broke a jaw. I went to jail for a year or so. In jail, I was putting the pieces together, and I decided to make this show.
Right.
Okay? I'm going to bullshit my way to the top. That was my train of thought.
Right.
And then throughout making videos, I realized that there is no bullshitting here. I learned it real quick. Number one, my show was a fucking flop. The biggest flop you could ever imagine. I remember it took me like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, to get 100 subscribers. And that was like such a momentous occasion.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I got emails from people saying, oh my God, your story about how you started, it inspired me. Or I got into trouble like this. And because I heard your story, I pulled things together. So
right.
I'm like, oh fuck. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna come clean about this? Where I inspired some people, and I'm like, this was like the biggest. It's the biggest problem I have for my channel moving forward. Because I don't want to come on here and do a podcast and sit here and perpetuate a lie. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So
right.
one of my biggest problems is, like, I've had offers from other people to do podcasts, and I'm like, I'm not going on a podcast, because obviously one of the biggest parts of my show is talking about this, the beginning. Of
right.
course. How did you start? How did you start? With a big fucking lie.
Right.
And who am I? Who am I? The breath of fresh air. That's
right.
what people tell me.
The realest motherfucker on the internet.
You're the realest motherfucker around, and here I am. I'm nothing but a fucking liar.
Right. But
isn't that ironic?
To your credit, though, that was a great fucking story. It was a somewhat relatable story. I'm still surprised to this day. I'm still waiting that the moment that it's going to be promoted by the right person, that it's finally going to get the views that video deserves, because made up or not, it's a great fucking video. It's a great premise. You know, starting your collection over, even if you were like, look, I just want to make a channel, you know, and start from scratch. I don't even have a fucking TV. I don't have fucking anything. I'm in this fucking apartment or whatever it was. If it was a house or whatever, it looked like an apartment. To me, that premise alone was great, but you added all this backstory and everything. To me, it was great. So
let me give you the true part of this story, just so people understand where I was coming from.
Okay.
I was going out with this girl who was a stripper, and we lived together for 4 years. It was a big test. It was a really big test in my life, by the way. Go out with a stripper. I urge everybody to go out with a stripper. It'll be the biggest
definitely
test.
Get rid of jealousy that
I've
way,
been there.
for sure.
I've been there.
Well, you know why? You want to know why I actually did it? And here's a story for you. I was listening to Howard Stern, and he had Bishop Don Magic Wand on. Do you know who that is?
No.
That's a no.
No.
Come on.
No. Yeah, he had Bishop Don Magic Wand on, who is like the most notorious pimp out there. Right? I mean, he's got a stable, like 50 women, whatnot. So Howard Stern says to him, Bishop Don, how can I become a pimp like you? And he said, you know something, Howard? It's very simple. He goes, would you let your best friends fuck your wife?
I think I've seen this clip before.
You've seen this?
I think I've seen this clip before.
This affected me so much. And Howard goes, no, of course not. And he goes, you'll never be a pimp.
Oh.
I've either heard
and
the
I was like this.
or...
I was like, this is incredible stuff. I said, yeah, well, so what am I doing here? So I wound up meeting this girl, and I found out she was a stripper. I said, but let's do this. Let's do the experiment.
Right.
And it lasted 4 years. But at the end of the day, I wanted a family, and she wanted a Fendi bag.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth. So one day I said, listen, she had money. Let me tell you something right now. If you're a woman and you're halfway attractive, stripping this girl had $40,000 in a trash bag under her bed.
Just for whenever the fuck.
And that's what I knew about.
Yeah.
So think about that.
That's
so she knew she knew that I could just walk away with that. But that she drove a Mercedes. You know what I'm saying?
No shit. Yeah.
Right. And here I am working like fucking minimum wage job. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that wasn't the point. The point was I understood this wasn't going anywhere. So I wound up, I sold my entire video game collection because I had to move out. I was just going to leave her. I was just going to say, listen, this isn't working out, but I wanted to leave that day because I didn't want there to be any, if you tell somebody you're going to leave them that day and you don't have a plan to leave that day.
Yeah.
And then they start talking to you, and next thing you know, you're back together for a while. And I said, no, I want to be out this day.
Rip it off like a Band-Aid. Get the shit done.
So I took my entire video game collection, which meant my Turbo Duo with every Turbo Duo game you can think of other than Magical Chase. My Sega Saturn with every single working designs game you could. We're talking Magical Chase, Magic Knight, Ray Earth. We're talking the whole shebang. Everything other than Panzer Dragoon Saga. Everything.
Right.
The whole game collection, I wound up selling it off. And let me tell you something. I have to take my hat off to my old video game collection because it was able to get me out, get me into a new apartment, and, give me a little cushion. And that's what I did. I sold my video game collection, and that's how I wound up in my apartment.
How did you
when I got to the apartment, I had nothing. I didn't even have a TV. You want to know why? We had bought a Sharp CRT. This is how I'm dating our relationship. This is over 10 years ago. We had a Sharp CRT TV, 37 inches, I think. Okay, the thing weighed like 300 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember telling my friend yes. I said, come to the house help me move a little bit. We went to pick up that TV, and I said, fuck it,
no.
leave it here.
Dude, yes.
I've had to the Sony Trinitrons, the Sony Wega Trinitron TVs.
The Wega. Woo!
So I have what is it, a 27 inch. My buddy found him a 32 inch, and I had to help him bring that fucker up his stairs. Fucking second story house. Oh my god, dude. They are fucking heavy, man. Heavy.
Is the Wega the pinnacle? I don't know what the pinnacle of CRTs is. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like
aside from a PVM, they're definitely good to use. Like a security monitor. You know, that someone would have, like in maybe a hospital, they would have used them, or for like a security camera, different applications like that. They have all the little fucking weird buttons and all the little ports on the back, and I don't know too much about them. I've never owned one, but that's pretty much what you know, the real elitists will swear by. Like the guys at My Life in Gaming, they all have, you know, the PVMs or whatever. But like, you know, someone that has no idea about any of that shit, like a Trinitron's a pretty decent TV for you to end up getting.
You know, you used to walk out of your house and trip over a Sony Wega. Remember, they'd be by the curbside all the time, and now you don't see them anymore.
See, that's weird because like now I see them everywhere, and it's by the curbside. So I think like Louisiana, we like, you know, 10 years behind everybody else.
Maybe so, but my biggest mistake is not buying a warehouse or renting a warehouse and filling it with all the CRT TVs I find in the garbage.
Right. If I was paying for a storage, it would be full of old shit like that. You know, old computers, CRT monitors, CRT TVs. It would be full. I'm like,
there's an old expression. It's not really that old because I just made it up now. Collect what everybody's throwing out. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, look, when CDs came out, you know, I was into CDs.
Oh God,
I would buy everything.
I want a cigarette so bad right now.
Well, you
You
drinking. It makes sense.
Yeah,
So
they go hand in hand.
So collecting CDs though, I collected them like a motherfucker, and then the iPod came out. I got an iPod and was like, oh, I'm keeping my CDs, and then eventually I got rid of them. Now I want them all fucking back.
I made the same mistake.
I'm buying them up everywhere, and now in addition to CDs, you fucking got me into fucking record collecting. So, and I sent you a picture of it when I got it, but I got the fucking Iron Maiden Killers album recently, like original press, like in really good condition for like $1.95. So
Prodigy. That's all you got to listen to is Prodigal Son.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know that.
that's a great track.
Dude,
That's a great track. I started learning some of it on my guitar.
Throw a dart with that album. Every song. It's such a fucking great album.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I got rid of all my CDs too, and the fucking to get your Iron Maiden, to buy all my Iron Maiden CDs back, I mean, I had to cash in my 401k.
Especially
sad,
now.
man. I want them all back too. I want them on tape. I want them on CD. I want all forms of media. I am not buying MP3s. I'm sorry. I don't agree with it.
Me either, not anymore. You know, because like back in the day, like there's this one band I listened to, Bullet for My Valentine, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they back in the day on iTunes when I had an iPod, they had this album come out, and they had this one song that was from the Rocky soundtrack, No Easy Way Out, right? And
Oh, sure.
and they did a cover of it, and it was a special track if you bought the, you know, whatever special edition version on iTunes, right? And now years later, the fucking license expired on it, so overnight it's just like no longer available, and I just had to import the fucking the CD from Japan because that track only released in Japan. So now I finally got it, and it's like fuck iTunes, fuck doing all that bullshit, you know. It's the same thing with games. It's the same thing with games right now. You know, you buy digital games, and then a few years later, you don't have access to it.
I won't do it. I gotta have it in my possession, or I'm not interested whatsoever.
Right, and then Jason falls on like the opposite end. He don't really care.
I'm the opposite, but you know what? I got rid of my CDs. I didn't give a fuck about them. I still don't, because I could still get the MP3s. I don't get them legally, but I can get them if I had to. I don't do that shit anymore because, dude, with VP, you know, I don't know. There's consequences now. A lot of people are getting busted, so I don't fuck with all that, you know. But
I understand. I understand where Jason's coming from. I completely understand where Jason's coming from. But this is just an old mentality.
Yeah.
That I have, where the older I get, the further I reach into the past.
Right.
No,
and I love it.
But Metal Jesus had put out a video not too long ago, and he showed his CD collection. I'm like, fuck, I want CDs. I'm not gonna go get them. But I'll admit, I never.
Oh, I will.
Them.
They're really easy to collect for, man. I mean, you go to a thrift store and they're like $1, or maybe some places might have them for $2 a piece, but usually 50 cents to $1. And a lot of them you can find fucking sealed. You know, 80s, 90s, whatever. They're all fucking sealed. Just here, $1. Take them. Nobody wants them.
I got news for you. I'm going for cassettes now, which is something I never thought I would do. I have a sickness. But for some reason, cassettes just are calling to me. And the thrift store's jacking up the prices on cassettes. They used to be 99 cents. Now they're $1.50.
Wow.
That's a lot.
There's one cassette that I'm looking for right now. It's a demo from a band, and it was the only way they released it was on cassette. But other than that, I'm not really too much into cassettes because I feel like no matter what, it's going to eventually get eaten or whatever. But records and CDs.
It makes no sense to collect cassettes because it's shitty sound quality. It's impossible. It's hard to find the tracks unless you have like a 3-head tape deck.
Right.
But I just remember my cassettes. I don't know.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you with it, man. I mean, the first album I ever bought was on a cassette that I paid for with my own money. It was
what was it?
Stone Temple Pilots' Core, the Core album.
Justice for All, Metallica. That was my first one.
The first one that I was given was actually Skid Row, their first album. That's the first one I had, but the first one I bought was Stone Temple Pilots' Core. But that's a good ways back.
It's so funny when I would hang out with my buddy Rat, and this was like hair metal band age, and he would get Skid Row, Mr. Big, Striper, and things like. And I was such an Iron Maiden guy. I refused to listen to anything else. I've always had that problem. I was like Led Zeppelin. I don't want to hear the Who. I don't want to hear the Rolling Stones. It's like Led Zeppelin, and then I got into Iron Maiden. I was like Iron Maiden. I don't want to hear anything else. I've been
no Metallica,
like
no Megadeth, just Iron Maiden.
TurboGrafx. I don't want to know about anything. Like really, like a soldier.
Right.
I'm not like that now.
A loyal
Thank
fan.
God. But like a lunatic when I was younger.
Let me ask you something. It's a little random, but did you watch a lot of Married with Children?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Because my mother, I remember when Married with Children first came out. My mother had a knee surgery, and she was on this machine that would crank her knee in and out. This hydraulic, like almost like a train. It had like this arm that would bring her leg in and out. And we watched Married with Children together. And then she liked Married with Children so much. And I remember her bringing it up to her mother. What do you think about Married with Children? And she thought it was like the end of Western civilization.
Yeah.
To an old person?
My dad loved it. And
disgusting.
My dad loved it, but my mom hated it. You know? Any time like any like feminist or sexist type, you know, thing, which was all the fucking time on Married with Children, my mom would be like, I can't believe you letting the kids watch this with you, and I'm like fucking 8 years old or whatever. Like, well, I don't get it. Why? It's not that bad, you know. Just
well, that's the thing. You know, this was at a time. This was such a this was such a raw time for television because you had like shows like Married with Children on. You had Morton Downey Jr. show on. These shows were horrendous.
Right.
Like these were pollution to the max. If I think about it now.
Well, it was a caricature of the dysfunctional everyday fucking family out there. You know, it might have been an exaggeration of it a bit, but it was
Trevor,
relatable as fuck.
Yes, and Trevor, what was the greatest episode of Married with Children? Come on, let's hear it.
Oh man, my favorite was always when the boyfriend broke his record that he was trying to figure out the song. That was always my favorite episode. Kelly's boyfriend.
What happened?
Which I think was, if I'm not mistaken, it was.
Kelly's boyfriend was in the metal band?
He had like he might have been in a metal band. I'm not sure.
Pig Vomit.
Really?
Oh, I remember
he
that.
had a leather jacket, but it was Matt LeBlanc from Friends, if I'm not mistaken, that was playing the guy, right?
Really?
And the whole episode, Al Bundy's trying to figure out this song from his like younger days, right?
Go with him.
That's exactly it. That's the fucking episode, man.
Oh, maybe I don't know this one. Go ahead.
At the very end of the episode, every time Kelly has the boyfriend over, Al just like brings him by the head and headbutts him against the door frame.
Yes.
And then kicks him out.
Yes, I remember that.
And then the end of the episode, him and Kelly's sitting on the couch, and he's like, I have a feeling that, me and your father's gonna be real good friends. And he had finally found the fucking record, and it's sitting on a pillow on the coffee table. And he fucking puts his legs up on the coffee table, and it shatters the fucking record. And that's the end of the episode. That was my favorite one growing up.
That was a good one.
Oh my favorite one was when Peggy used to sit on the couch and watch Jim Jupiter. Do you remember Jim Jupiter?
Yeah, the workout guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
She used to eat bonbons and watch Jim Jupiter because he was like the workout guy and he was all buff and whatnot. And she won a contest where Jim Jupiter would come to your house and become your personal trainer. So he came to the house, but then he turned into like one of the Bundys where he would like just sit on the couch and eat bonbons and whatnot.
So
and he got fat and he died.
Wow.
And then Al comes in and he's like, well, kids, he's Jim Jupiter. He's not a Bundy. Well, it's Bundys and we're like cockroaches. We're survivors. This, that, the other. Oh my God.
That was a good one. I forgot about that one.
Do you remember the one where Al Bundy brings home the air conditioner, the Von Kaiser?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
They didn't have it. It was so hot out, and they didn't have air conditioning. And he gets this huge air conditioner that's made in Germany. It's called the Von Kaiser. It's like this old surplus air conditioner. And it had two settings on it. One was like cold, and then freezing der Heine off.
That's classic fucking Married with Children, man.
Yeah.
But that's the reason I bring it up is I feel like part of like the show almost seems inspired by a lot of the comedy on Married with Children. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but
maybe it's just because I'm a miserable married man.
Right. Right. It shows.
Yeah, but I never thought about it like that.
So let me ask you this, Jesse. What actually gave you the idea for Ed Tool Clothesline? Because I actually just discovered this a few days ago. When you decided to come on the podcast, I started going through a lot of your back catalog. Because I didn't jump on until a certain point. I think you were at maybe 3,500 to 4,000 was when I kind of jumped on, when I met you and everything. So that was like a look at this fucking dude right here. It was honestly the day before you put up your promo video. So the day before
Trevor, I hate to interrupt you. And we'll get right back to it. But Jason, who's on your shirt?
I don't know, some girl eating ice cream and it looks like cum and shit. So
she's.
I don't know, it's random. And I wear it like
Smoking hot, man.
Yeah, I like the colors and shit. And
I can't keep my eyes off her tits. All right, I'm sorry. That's Jack Daniels talking. But yeah, Ed 2.0 Clothesline was again low production, no editing skill to present the game. I wanted to present a close up of the game because I thought it was more important to see the game than my fucking stupid head. So I was like, let me do this low budget style, which winds up being higher budget style because it was a pain in the neck to rig up. And it was a nod to my man Paul Verhoeven in RoboCop to call it Ed 2.0 Clothesline because to me, three of the most fantastic movies ever made were the Paul Verhoeven trilogy, I call it, which is Total Recall, RoboCop, and Starship Troopers.
Oh, you're a fan of Starship Troopers as well, huh?
Who isn't?
I haven't seen it. To be honest yet.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, if you like RoboCop, then you like the other two. And if you like Total Recall, then you like the other two.
Yeah.
And if you like Starship Troopers, then you like the other two. It's a wonderful trilogy of movies.
I love RoboCop and what's the other one? Total Recall. I love both of those fucking movies. So.
Yeah, those movies had a real impact on me when I was younger. That's why. Especially RoboCop. The graphic violence in that was like shattered my whole reality.
Oh yeah, and I was even younger than you when I saw it, and it was when they kill that guy. Holy shit, that was. I had seen Jason movies at that point.
In my little naive brain, I couldn't even believe that men could be that bad. Like, it was shocking.
It really was. I had seen Jason movies at that point. I had watched more than one Jason movie at that point at a friend's house.
But he was a monster.
Yeah.
He was basically a monster. He had a mask on. He was a monster. These were human beings. These were like bad guys. That's all I could think in my head. These are bad guys. And that really shook me. It shook me. Really, that scene shook me.
Yeah, because usually the more real stuff is more scary.
Yeah, I never saw somebody like reap enjoyment from killing somebody and maiming them. This is like, oh my God. It was like, it threw my whole world into a tailspin. It really did. It was that and Toxic Avenger.
Oh yeah, I've seen Toxic Avenger. I have it on VHS right now.
It's a great, let me tell you something. I love watching it now. I think the movie's fucking hilarious. But when you're fucking 7, 8 years old, and you see these guys run down a kid on a bicycle. Meanwhile, you're busy riding a bicycle on the street. You say, oh, my God, there's people out there like this. And they crush his head with the Trans Am. And they're drinking in the car. And you're like, oh, my God, they're so bad. And they're like teenagers. It's like, these are bad people. Are they out there? That was the whole thing. It was like, all these people out there? God,
Jason, did you get to see that movie as a kid? Toxic Avenger?
Man, I know what the cover looks like. I remember going to the video store and always fucking seeing the cover, but I never fucking saw it, man.
Oh, treat yourself.
Yeah.
Treat yourself, buddy. You won't be sorry. You won't be sorry. That fucking movie rules. I'm not into trauma movies. You know, trauma. Like, I think I've only seen Toxic Avenger.
Me too. I don't think I've seen a single other movie from them.
Yeah. But maybe that was like breakout.
No, I think at some point when I was a kid, I maybe saw like the sequels, you know, or clips of the sequels, but never a different movie. I don't even know what else they did, you know, otherwise. But
it became a Nintendo game.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure did.
That I don't own. I'm just not thinking about it. I don't own.
I think I have
How many games you got, Trevor?
I think I'm at 360-ish.
Oh, shit.
Okay, we're in the ballpark. I think we're at 3. Let me ask you a question. Do you have them cataloged in your head?
No, I have an app that
No, but I know that. I know.
No,
that.
but yeah, mostly.
But if I told you a game right now, would you be able to tell me that you have it or you don't have it?
For the most part, yeah. Like Toxic Avenger, I believe I have it. I believe I have it, but usually I can say whether I have a game or not.
I know with such certainty what games I have, and I'm always wrong.
You're certain about
it's true.
it.
It's true. People send me games. I have this one, and I don't have it. Or I say I don't have this one, and then I look and I have it. So
it happens to me. So
I'm in a bad place where I listen. Data entry to me at this point in my life, I ain't fucking doing it. So we're taking guesses at this point. And that's what's gonna. No, seriously, I'm not gonna enter 300 games on a fucking app. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, when I first did it, to be fair, I get what you're saying. When I did it, I was at maybe 120, so it wasn't that bad. And then, but what I will say is, I also had like 15 other fucking consoles that I have games for. So by the end of it, I was entering, let's just say, well more than 300 fucking games in the system, because it's the app I have is like a multi-tier, any console you can think of, pretty much, at least cartridge-wise.
And what does it have the games on there, so you don't even have to type them in?
Right, pretty much. You could cycle through it. You can search. So that's like fantastic. if you at like a flea market or whatever, you type in the game, and it'll come up if you have it, and if you don't have it, it won't come up.
Hey,
that's great. That's great.
But it took a long fucking time to enter all them games, so I get not wanting to fucking do that. I'm just one of these anal idiots that devotes the time to something stupid like that.
Hey, dude, have you checked out Nintendo Quest? It's on Amazon Prime. It's like a movie. It's about a dude and his best friend. It like films him, and his quest is to go 30 days, not using the internet, shopping at stores. He's from Canada, and he's just gonna go on road trips trying to collect the whole NES set. Have you seen it? It's pretty good.
Oh, I hope he's got a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, it's a couple of years.
If you're gonna go to stores, what, you're gonna go to video game stores and build your collection?
Oh, I think I've seen it.
And people and word of mouth, like people like that he meets and stuff, going to their houses.
And by the end of it, he ends up getting stadium events like way later, right?
Yeah.
That's the same one, right?
That's the same one.
What?
And it's like he doesn't do it. He's missing like maybe 15 games or so. I forgot what at the end. But then like 6 months later, fast forwards, and he ends up getting the rest of them through like eBay, and then he has a story for the last one, stadium events, which he said in the beginning that one needs a story because he had an offer, but he didn't want to make it because he had a budget. But I mean, that sounds like they added that part in there, to tell you the truth. I mean,
well, Jason, how much did he pay for stadium events?
I don't remember.
Did he even say?
I think he said it was around 4,000. If my memory serves me. So like somebody had more than one copy, and they gave him like a kind of buddy price to help him out, right?
That's a fucking buddy price. When did he complete that?
It was like in 2015, I think.
That's a buddy price.
Yeah, and it was the guy. I think the guy just wanted to be on the show. The guy had a crazy collection. He had 2 copies. One of the stadium events was boxed, dude. He had the box.
Yeah, he had a boxed one and one without a box.
Listen, these guys are out there.
Yeah.
These guys, just because they're not fucking yakking their trap on YouTube, these guys are fucking out there, man.
And he said, I think 1 of 10, but he's only confirmed like 6 of them that he knows of.
And, but from what I remember, what it was the guy had he had a savings account that was specifically for the games. So he had, like, let's say $20,000 or whatever to spend, and he went trying to collect these games all over the United States, and they filmed while he was going all over. They'd end up in a hotel around this certain shop. They'd go film him looking for games in that shop. It's a decent little watch, man.
Yeah,
it's a nice journey. Listen, it's a nice journey. I mean, what the fuck else are you gonna do?
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
It was cool. They made a good little movie out of it. They even met up with that one dude that who takes credit for being the first pro gamer, the guy who got caught cheating for the Atari, was it the Dragster game? Todd, I forget his name. Todd something.
I'm not sure.
Like Billy Mitchell's friend and all
I saw that motherfucker.
Yeah, he even meets up with that dude, but it's real short. Like,
how did he cheat? How did he cheat on that anyhow?
I don't know. Something about it's impossible with the shifting that he did to get so many seconds. Even the programmers of the game or something came out, I think, and said it was impossible to do in the programming.
What? Who are we talking about? Billy Mitchell or the other guy?
No, the other guy, Todd.
Oh, okay. All right.
Billy Mitchell's the best.
Yeah.
With his fucking feather hair and I wish I had hair like that.
And his fucking hot sauce.
And the goddamn, I love it. The goddamn like United States of America tie.
Yeah. And that's his fucking initials he enters, right? He enters in USA.
Does he really?
Yeah, he enters in USA.
Like
that's
that.
his fucking initials.
Hey, Trevor.
That's good. I like that.
Oh, you know what? Jesse, I'm not sure if you know who Pat Contry is. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, of course.
All
Pat
right,
the Pat the NES. Pat, hold on. Pat the NES. I drink out of a metal container, and I moved to California. That was a big mistake. I should have stayed in New Jersey, and I used to be a fat kid.
All right, I gotta ask you one question.
I knew he was a fat kid from the beginning.
I gotta ask you one question.
You don't get cheeks like that, not being a fat kid.
Oh my god! So
I like him. Listen, I'm just busting his balls. I like Pat.
All right, so
I just don't like the fact that he drinks out of a metal container like a cunt.
All right, so I gotta ask you one question. You like Pat? If you had stadium events, you got the game legit, a real copy of stadium events, would you get it signed by Pat?
Would I get signed?
Yeah, would you go to convention and say, Pat, will you sign this? With
Fuck no.
Cartridge?
Are you shitting me? Who did that?
A YouTuber named Destiny FOMO. She came out of nowhere and she came out recently and she's getting subscribers because of other reasons, but she got the copy of the game. She whipped out $30,000 cash and said, I want this game, give me leads or whatever. She ends up getting the game, doesn't say the price. She says it was under 30 though. I think she says it was under 20. I don't know. But she gets the game and she goes to the convention and gets Pat to sign it. I'm like, why would you?
Yeah, that's retarded.
It's a publicity
I like
stunt.
Pat. I like Pat, but that's retarded.
Yeah. So we were on the subject about fucking stadium events. I just had to ask you, would you? Who the fuck would do that shit? Like, even if I'm starting on YouTube and I want to grow, not Pat, man. Get somebody else.
And I got news for you. Shame on Pat for signing it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
If somebody came to me with a stadium events to sign it, I wouldn't do it.
There's no way I would.
I'm like, what
Are
are you
you kidding?
fucking dumb?
There's
You gotta
no
be a
way
fucking dummy.
I would have signed a stadium.
No, I
event.
wouldn't have done it.
There's
I
no
wouldn't
way.
have done it. You want to really go crazy? Listen, Jason, you got kids?
No, I don't.
All right, thank God. Because, listen, if you have a fucking I have a 4-year-old that watches videos of a gay guy opening up lollipops. And he's like, oh, this one's my friend. And he's a Spanish gay guy. He goes, oh, this one's my friend. He opens up a lollipop and then he throws it to the side. And he opens up a piece of gum. He goes, this one's not my friend. And he throws it over here. And the fucking guy's got like 50 million views on his video. And you're like, I said, why? Why? It's like when you try to play the drums, all right? I've been playing the drums now for, I don't know, 20 years, even though I don't have a drum set now because I can't play the drums next to the fucking people that blast the bachata all night long. But anyway, it's like playing the drums. You sit there and you slave playing the drums for 20 years, and then you turn on YouTube and there's a fucking 3-year-old Japanese kid playing drums with the touch and the feel of a 40-year-old.
Wow.
And you take the drumsticks and you go like this. I'm done.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? It's like watching The Last Gamer. I love Joel. But I watch his channel and I get depressed. Because I say, I'll never achieve this.
Yeah. How can you compete with that?
How can
Not
you compete with
that not that it's a competition, but what the fuck? Right? With
like,
Joel.
You're like, is that the end game? I'm so proud of my PC Engine collection. You understand? I got it in a little flight case. Everything's in an airtight fucking plastic sleeve. And then I watch Joel and I'm like, like, this sucks. What I have sucks. And then I get depressed.
Dude, Joe's though, he's one of the most humble people. He acts like he doesn't have that big collection like that. He's so nice, man. He watches everyone's smallest channels, dude. It's funny, dude, because I look at his arcade room, and that's my dream as a kid, to go to an arcade that was that big, and he owns it. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, speaking of Joel, he actually submitted a question to us.
Oh, I'd love to answer a question from Joel.
All right, so he wants to know, what is your favorite shooter of all time or shooter series? And do you ever plan to visit Australia? Because you're definitely a guy he'd like to meet someday.
I'm gonna say Irem, number one. I'm gonna say Irem. I'm gonna say Irem made two of the greatest shooters of all time. They made a fucking vertically scrolling shooter and a horizontally scrolling shooter. It's like a perfect combo. It's R-Type and Image Fight.
Right. Right.
And when you understand the gravity of these two games, where R-Type and Image Fight have been the influence on so many other shooters.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Image Fight does not get its due, and I recommend that you don't play the Nintendo version. You have to play either the PC Engine version or the arcade. Image Fight is a real trip, man.
Well, what year were we talking for Image Fight? Was that 81?
87?
Oh, wow, I'm way off.
I'm guessing, but I believe it's 87, 88, 86, 87, 87. Can you look that up?
No, what the fuck am I talking about? 81.
What do you mean, no?
No, I'm talking to myself. 81. That was like Defender fucking coming out in 81. I'm on crack.
Yeah, bro. Where you been?
88.
88? Image Fight?
Yeah, 88. So
I think Image Fight is probably the most revolutionary vertically scrolling shooter there is. I'm gonna say R-Type on the TurboGrafx 16 USA, because it has R-Type 1, R-Type 2, right? And Image Fight PC Engine. I think those are what did he ask me if the two most best?
Your favorite shooter and
my
favorite series.
Those are my favorite. I just remember putting on Image Fight for the first time, and when I shut it off, it was like after midnight, and I had work the next day. That shit doesn't happen. So there's my barometer for that.
Right. Well, let's see. We have a
Good
couple
question.
more. We have a couple more questions. Oh, well, actually.
Good question, Joel. I love you, Joel.
Do you actually plan to get out to Australia at some point? Was his second question.
You know what? The old Jesse would have said no, but the new Jesse.
You know, Australia is like a fucking death trap, right?
Just like the old Jesse would have never done a podcast, but the new Jesse is speaking to you right now.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming on. This is fucking.
I love being on here. I think you guys got a great thing. I really do.
Thanks.
I really do.
I really appreciate the feedback, man. But I'm fucking terrified of spiders, right? Can you see me going to Australia?
You're what? You're terrified of what?
Spiders. Like a motherfucker. Right? Like a motherfucker. I've almost jumped on.
Australia is not the place for you. What do they got?
I've almost jumped off a fucking ladder like 30 foot in the fucking air because a spider was like fucking really close to fucking where my hand was.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Louisiana, you guys got the brown spider?
Brown recluses, and we have black widows down here. We didn't used to have many of them, but our area has a bunch of them because of this fucking tar place. We getting tars from like Alabama or some area, and they fucking coming with black widows. So we got black widows and brown recluses now down here.
Let me tell you something. We had a black widow spider twice at my job, and because we got pallets coming in from around the world,
right?
And we got a black we got a black widow spider, and I know just from experience. I don't know how, because my buddy's father is it's a long story. He's into reptiles, and he got arrested for having like all these exotic animals in his basement. But I know if you take a black widow spider down to the pet store, you can get $80 to $90 for it.
Oh, really? I didn't
So
know
at
that.
my job, there was this black widow spider on the bottom of a pallet. Somebody told me about it. So I go and I get a soda cup, like a plastic cup, and I'm like, $90. I'm taking this motherfucker home.
Right.
And I flip the pallet over, and there he is. He's fucking huge, like the spider from the Immortal. You ever play the Immortal for the Sega Genesis? It was like the spider from the Immortal. And I was sitting there, and I was like the wizard, and I had the cup, and I went to put the cup on the spider, and he did this supersonic move where he was like, and I was like, ah! And I said, fuck this thing. I threw the cup down, and I'm out of there. Fuck him. I don't need the $90.
Dude, I have a.
But apparently a black widow bite isn't as bad as you think. I think it just.
There's probably a lot of misinformation out there because I've heard a black widow spider bite, like you got to get tested for like a tumor every 6 months after you get bitten.
Oh, no kidding. I heard about.
But I don't know. Like I'm saying, you know, they had people in fucking Chernobyl thinking that they could fucking drink vodka and it would protect them from the fucking radiation. So, you know, who's to say what's true? I'm not an expert on spiders. Yeah. So,
you know what, Jesse?
You know something? Story. We got a pallet in from a pallet of watermelons in from Chile, and it was a spider. I swear to you, Trevor, the spider was this big.
From fucking Chile? I would imagine it'd be a fucking jumping tarantula, probably.
And it was bright like a neon green. It just shouted poison.
Holy shit!
You know how like animals in the animal kingdom, if they're fucking bright, they're poisonous.
Yeah.
This thing just screamed poison. Okay, when everybody saw it, we all hit the road. We all hit the road. But
some of these fucking spiders can run like fucking 10 miles an hour, and they can jump 6 feet. How you gonna outrun something like that?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm like, nobody would go near this. But it was hilarious. We had this one manager in the building. She was the biggest bull dyke you're ever gonna meet in your life. Okay, she was like, you know, she carried like a tape measure in a pocket, this type of thing. So all the guys are like at a distance around because you all want to see the spider. So we're all like around, surrounding this pallet, like looking at the spider, which is just sitting there. And she walks up with a hammer and she just goes like that and smashes it. And then she goes, "What am I, the only one with the balls around here?" And I was basically, we were like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I'd have been transfixed on it, but I wouldn't have been the one to fucking smash it. That's for sure. Because I'm fascinated by them, just like with sharks. You know, I'm fascinated by spiders and sharks. But I'm terrified of the water. You know, I'll go swim and everything, but fucking, like, I work in the oil field, and, like, it's one of my fears to be, like, stranded out in the ocean, you know, just out in the water by yourself. No float, no nothing, and spiders. But I'm absolutely fascinated by both of them.
Well, you know, we have a beach by us where, you know, everybody goes swimming and whatnot. And if you take a walk like a half a mile to the right, there's a four-wheel drive beach, and it's basically designated as a fishing beach. And if you saw what they pull up on the sand, you would never go swimming again. Don't
they have great whites that have been
off
in that area?
Yeah, sure. Off of Montauk and whatnot. But I mean, they pull sand sharks out of the water that are 5 feet long. They pull bluefish. What people don't understand is what up here in Long Island, when you go to the beach, basically when you go in the water, you go out a couple feet and then there's like a trench that goes down.
Yeah.
Okay. And then occasionally when you're sitting at the beach, you see a bunch of birds flying over the water, like a group of seagulls. They'll be flying over the water. And what that is the bluefish run through the trench because they're chasing bait fish. And they chase the bait fish to the surface, so all the seagulls come down and they try to get the bait fish. So as a fisherman, the layman, which is like the fucking Salvadorian sitting on the beach that's like enjoying their time and going swimming and whatnot, doesn't realize there's a school of bluefish running through. Well, if you ever see a bluefish, the fucking teeth are like this. And if they think you're a bait fish in that trench while you're swimming, they'll take a chunk out of your leg.
Right.
And it's happened many times.
Down
so when
here,
you see those birds coming, you get the fuck out of the water.
Yeah. Well, down here in Louisiana, we have in the Gulf we have bull sharks, and bull sharks they take a what's it called, a test bite, pretty much. That's how they determine whether they're gonna eat you or not. So usually once they bite, they're not going to continue attacking you, but at that point, you lost your leg, you're bleeding out on the fucking shore. So it really doesn't matter that they're not going to continue eating you. You'd probably be better off, because bleeding out's one of the most painful experiences.
I stay out of Mother Nature altogether.
Yeah.
And that's wise advice. My buddy showed me a video of attacking a wildebeest. Okay.
Lions?
They grab them by the neck. They drag them down, they try to suffocate him, almost like they're trying to be humane. And then the other lion grabs the fucking wildebeest by the nutsack and tears his nuts off. I was like, Jesus Christ, this fucking poor thing isn't even dead yet, and he's watching his nuts get ripped off.
Well,
you think you got it bad?
Pabst, how do I say this guy's name? Pabst-the-Ban? Pabst-the-Ban, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Pabst Oben.
Pabst Oben. Okay, that's what we're gonna go with. We're gonna go with that.
This guy is one of the soldiers on the show.
Right.
Yeah.
So he gave us a question.
I could name a couple soldiers on the show. He's one of the soldiers. He really is.
Right. I tried getting out to as much as the fans that I could, but only a few people saw it.
Smart man.
So he asks, he wants to know about your family, how you met your wife, having kids, how you transitioned into dad life.
I met my wife at work. I made a joke to her about my teeth, about how beautiful my smile was, and she laughed. And sorry, I lost you guys because my screen went blank. And all I wanted to do was make this woman laugh, and that's how I met my wife. And she thought I was utterly ridiculous. She thought I was a fool. But she's a very genuine person. Her moral foundation is solid. Like, that's what impresses me the most about her. She is who she is, and she knows what's right from wrong, and she stands by it, and she is unwavering in that. And to be honest with you, I'm just her court jester.
Right.
That's it. She's the most courageous person I think I've ever met. Hands down. I always tell her, I'm waiting for her to pull down her pants and her dick and her balls to fall out. But that's my wife. And then my kid, I had a kid, and I was prepared for it? No, you're not prepared for it.
Who's ever prepared?
How do you
non-dysfunctional people?
Right. How do you transition into fatherhood? By the seat of your pants. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out every fucking day, and I'm failing.
Yeah,
that's about it. But Pabst Oben, man, Pabst Oben's a solid dude. Solid dude, and I owe him big time. I owe him so big time. I don't really want to bring it up, but I fucked him over really bad, and he just forgot about it, and that's a long story. But I feel really bad about that, and I'm gonna make it up to him one day.
I gotcha.
I didn't fuck him over in a malicious way. I just fucked him over. He tried to do something with me, and I owe him one. That's it. That's how I'll leave it.
Right. I gotcha. Is there anything on your channel that you consider off limits? Like what is off limits on your channel? Something
Nothing.
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 That's what I expected to hear. To be honest.
I can't wait to start talking about cancer, to be honest with you. No, seriously. I love joking around about cancer.
I love dark humor.
Well, here's the thing. People get so upset because everybody knows somebody that died from cancer. So
yeah, I mean,
so I'm laughing. I know. Listen, I know people that died from cancer, but to be honest with you, the thing that cracks me up the most is humor about cancer.
Yeah, I mean, I joke about AIDS all the time. So, I mean,
yeah, but
how can we ever expect to have?
But cancer is almost like.
It's the catch-all. Like who hasn't had someone with cancer?
But with somebody with AIDS, you're like, okay, what'd you do? You take up the ass? What are you stabbing yourself with a needle here and there? There's always.
What are you, a fag?
Yeah, there's always an asterisk with AIDS. Are you up to some nonsense? But everybody knows a grandma that died of cancer, or everybody knows a friend that died of cancer, and there's nothing you can do about it. But to me, it's hilarious. Not that anybody died, but
right.
For instance, let me give you a for instance. We got this guy at work who's a total knucklehead. He's just like oblivious to anything, and he had a cold. and this woman at work who's the same typical asshole woman that's always asking everybody how they feel, even though she doesn't really fucking care.
Yes.
Says, Steve, what's the matter? What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? And he goes, and this is how he talks. He goes, I got cancer. and for some reason, that made me roll on the floor. She got so bent out of shape.
Was he serious? Was he for real?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
You know what he was serious about? He was serious about everybody asking him how he felt.
Right.
He was serious about being sick and tired of people asking how he felt, so he decided to say something ultra offensive. Oh, offensive.
Right. Like, stop fucking asking me.
And this woman, oh, that's not funny. So-and-so has cancer. Or so-and-so. People get bent out of shape. And it's like, what?
Why?
Well, okay.
Comedy's subjective. Like, if it's not funny to you, it might be funny to somebody else. So why get butthurt about it?
Cancer humor is hilarious. It's hilarious.
But not only that.
Well, listen, I come from a place where in my job we had 20 people win the lottery. Okay, they won like a $200 million lottery.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
All right. I know a kid that tried to get in on that lottery. Snubbed him.
They snubbed him?
Yeah, in other words, they said, we got 20 people in, you're out. So imagine how this motherfucker feels, right? He just lost out on a fucking, part of a $200 million cash in, right?
Yeah.
And when I asked him about it, he told me he hopes they all get cancer. Dude, that's hilarious. That to me is hilarious. And I cracked up laughing when I heard it. I didn't say, my grandfather died of cancer. Okay, people die of cancer all the time.
Yeah, my grandfather died of cancer as well. So,
it's like that roulette. I
still find it funny.
You just don't know who it's going to happen to, when it's going to happen. It could happen to anybody, but it happens. So come on, lighten up.
Yeah, for sure. And not only that, how the fuck are we ever supposed to talk about anything if we can't fucking have conversations like that? Like, to me,
there you go.
Joking about shit, it helps deal with the fucking stigma around some of these issues.
It's the best. It's the best.
Let me ask you this, buddy.
Yeah.
Is Tommy Hagler ever going to come back on the show at some point?
No, Tommy Hagler was my. This is me struggling. You understand? This is me struggling. I said I couldn't believe that everybody on. This is my stupidity. I can't believe that everybody on this planet's not watching my channel. So here I am. I'm gonna create this character, and when they find out about Tommy Hagler, it's gonna be, this is gonna be over the top.
He said it. He said it.
And then nobody still watched. So
Yeah.
It's just one of these crazy things that you do. It's like Kiss putting on the makeup. And I needed a gimmick.
Hey, I liked it. I liked it. I saw it a couple days ago for the first time, and I fucking laughed my ass off. When you rub in the mustache, and then you come down with the other fucking hand, and it has all the fucking gold rings, I fucking almost fell back in my fucking chair laughing my ass off. I was like, where the fuck did he find all these fucking rings and the shirt and the hat? Where did he get this shit at? And was it based off of anyone you knew in real life? That was my immediate questions after just seeing that hand come up with the rings.
Yes, it sort of was. It was based off my buddy Tommy, who recently died of a heroin overdose.
Okay, I've actually heard you speak of him before, at least once, I think, in a video.
Oh yeah, it was a crazy thing. He got, they were cutting in fentanyl with heroin up here in Long Island for a little while. A bunch of people died, and he was one of them. And he was just like this, like larger than life guy, and that's what Tommy Hagler was. Tommy Hagler was smart. Bithead1000 was an idiot. That was the whole, my whole design of my program was supposed to be me as an idiot. Okay, that's why my thing on YouTube says Town Drunk Village Idiot. The name Bithead1000 was developed so people would say Shithead1000.
Really?
I wanted people to make fun of the name. That's where I came up with the name. But I didn't have enough viewers for anybody to make fun of me. Even to this day, I haven't had one person call me Shithead1000. I've had people call me Bighead1000 all the time to insult me. They'll say Bighead1000, but they won't come up with Shithead1000. I said this name by design was for Shithead1000.
No shit.
Nobody does it.
Shit. That's funny because I'm doing that all the time. You can ask Jason. Like anytime we do something, I'm like, how long is it going to be before someone says this? Right? Like, I'll put on the screen right now.
How long till somebody says what? How long till somebody says what?
Just X, just whatever example. And I'll give you an example right now. I'm going to put on our new logo that we got, right?
Oh, okay.
And when I got the new logo, I told Jason, I give it 2 days tops before someone photoshops dicks in our hands.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that constantly all the fucking time, and he's like, dude, you called it. Someone said fucking this, because when we put over the top, I was like, how long before someone's gonna say Trevor's the bottom or you're the top or whatever? And sure enough, it fucking came out. The only difference is
who says in the beginning of your show the garden gnome?
Mr. Top-Loaded Gaming, the fucking garden gnome who thinks he's intelligent.
Trevor.
That's Darius Truxton. He's a shady fellow, but it was such a good soundbite that I was like, I have to use it.
That was brilliant. I love the fact that you did that. That's perfect. That's perfect.
It was a great soundbite. I tip my hat to the guy. It's a great soundbite for my channel for sure.
You did a great job with that. I was really impressed by that.
So look, I got another question for you that someone submitted.
Yeah.
Level 1 Online asks, what is your proudest gaming accomplishment?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but how many questions did you get?
This is actually the last one that was submitted to us.
What a shame. 5?
5 or 6. Yeah. Like I said, I tried. And Corey from My Life in Gaming said he was going to submit one. I guess he kind of got pressed for time or whatever, but
Corey, Corey got pressed for time?
I guess. I'm trying to give him an out here.
Come on, brother. Give me a break.
No, but I will say he did say that it was badass that we were able to get you to come on. So he's very excited about, I guess, the prospect of you being on a podcast.
Yeah,
so.
Corey's the man. Corey wearing the Bithead1000 t-shirt, by the way, was a big thrill for me on his show because naturally I got to run to my wife, and basically it's like This guy wears Bithead1000 t-shirt, and look at the subscriber count. You know, it's like that's basically that's how my wife registers things. You know, like that's important. But to me, it was a really really big compliment.
Yeah, for sure. I remember seeing it for the first time. Like, wow, check this fucking dude out. That's pretty cool. But no, Level 1 Online asks, what's your proudest gaming accomplishment?
Beating R-Type.
Beating R-Type?
Yep.
That's a big one. I still haven't even done that. Like,
it's a motherfucker. Got it recorded on VCR tape. I'm not even sure if I beat it. I think Phil might have beat it.
Wait, you're not sure if you beat it?
This is like, look, I got another Milli Vanilli moment. Like my first video. The first video is like my Milli Vanilli moment. No, we both tried to beat R-Type. We beat it, but I'm not sure who actually beat it. But we did it with slow motion on the. It's cheating all the way. But we beat that motherfucker. That
like
game
like with
fucking hard.
With the controller that had the slow mode on it or whatever.
Yes, the turbo stick. We did it with the turbo stick on slow motion. All right, that's the fucking truth. I'm sorry. You play that game, and if you blame me, if you got something to say, you beat it.
Hey, it's still not as bad as save states. That's what I'm gonna say. Still not as bad as save states.
Oh no, it's the same thing.
You know something? I could do save states on a modern game, but I can't do save states on a game I respect.
Yeah.
To me, you're just saving. Now, if you go back and forth, okay, but if you just save it because you got something to do, and then you go back, if you die, you die. But if you save and then you die and then you go back to this save, it's different. It depends how you abuse it.
The only way I would use a save state is in a game like Metroid, like Zero Mission or whatever, and I would save. I would only save state.
You better get out of here with that bullshit, Trevor.
Only in the save room, though. Only in the save room. If it's more convenient to save using that system instead of the system, like if you're emulating, I'm saying, you know.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay. My save state. I love how he fires up a cigarette. Oh my god. Guy's like
he's
king.
So fucking jealous of the cigarette right now.
Fucking king, you're a fucking king. The beauty of smoking a cigarette indoors is the low turbulence in the air and watching the smoke rise off the cigarette. It's so relaxing. Everybody thinks smoking, it's the nicotine. It's not just the nicotine. It's watching the smoke
billowing out.
It's like watching a camp. It's like watching a campfire. It's completely random. It's chaotic. And you just watch the smoke like do little loops in the air. Oh my! Anyhow,
hey, I got all into that right there, man.
It's true.
I want to smoke a cigarette now. I don't even smoke, man.
Oh, you don't see? Have you ever smoked? Jason, have you ever smoked in your life?
Yes, I used to smoke cigarettes when I used to drink and go to the strip club all the time. I used to get real fucked up and had to have some. But then I used to smoke weed too, like a lot. So, yeah.
Oh, there was nothing better than smoking weed and then smoking a cigarette.
I never got to cigarettes only when I was drinking. That was it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you smoke weed, I know this from my younger years, but if you smoke weed and then you smoke a cigarette, you feel the column of smoke go down your throat. It's almost like a log. And it's delicious. It's true. It's true. And then a beer. I mean, come on. Listen, it's a party.
It's a
party. It's a fucking party.
Yeah, all friends together. It's all party, man.
Listen, I'm a big fan of marijuana. And listen, anybody that knows me knows that I'm just waiting for retirement to turn into a big pothead. Right now, I can't do it because I have dreams. And basically what marijuana is it's a dream killer. It's an ambition killer. That's what it is. Which is fantastic in a lot of ways. But it's an ambition killer. And that's what I tell young people. I tell young people like my stepson was because he stopped. He went into the military. But he was a big weed smoker, and I told him, I said, I don't have a problem with smoking. I said, my only problem is for a young man like you is it destroys ambition. And it does. And destroying ambition is a beautiful thing because you could sit on the couch and smoke weed and just watch mediocre TV. And it's like the most fantastic thing you could have. I remember, who's this guy that makes these fucking action movies? This fucking guy. He makes these over-the-top action movies. He's bald.
Steven Seagal?
No, he's always in the car that's flipping over in slow motion and firing two guns
Jason
at the same
Statham?
time.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, that's the most mediocre shit you could ever imagine. I remember recently trying, smoking some weed, vape pen trying. My friend introduced me. And sitting on the couch and watching this movie with a sleeve of Oreos and being like, this is the most incredible fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, it destroys your ambition and it destroys your taste, like your taste and style and everything like that. I actually thought that was a good movie. Meanwhile, if I was sober, I would break my hand trying to hit the button on the controller to change the channel.
You see, I don't have an issue with weed. It's the issue of don't be the guy that is like, hey, you got to try this weed, man. It's that kush, that whatever, I don't want to know 10 types of fucking flavors of fucking, whatever the fuck it is, like, quit trying to get me to, like, I'll smoke it fine, whatever. I don't give a fuck where it's from, who fucking hydroponic this, whatever. Like, those people fucking annoy me,
Yeah, these are the guys that read High Time. And they wear the shirt they have the socks with the pot leaves on them. I'm not interested in that. My interest is I got a wife howling at me upstairs. I got a kid that's driving me bonkers. I just want to tune out a little bit. You know what I mean? And part of my tuning out is coming down here and listening to records. That's a big part of it.
Right.
Yeah, I remember there was this one strain that it made me want to clean and made me want to do stuff. It really got me wanting to do stuff that I was just like, a regular day, I'll get home from work, I'd be lazy and I would smoke and I would just want to do things. So it just depends what type, but I know most of the types of weed I would smoke would get me like what you said. I think something so funny or so badass, and it really wasn't. So it kind of fucked up my perception of things, but there was some weed that would actually get me doing things.
Well, there you go. And that's fantastic. And I will tell you one thing about listen, I'm a very antisocial person. The idea of my wife dragging me out to a party is like my worst horror movie being played out. Yeah. But I will tell you this, if I did smoke, I'd be like, very social.
Right.
Very very relaxed. I'm the same way. Relaxed, very anxiety free in a social situation. And you know what? The laws of attraction start to take hold in a situation like that. People, because you're relaxed and anxiety free, people want to talk to you, and then life becomes very interesting. So that's something for my future. But right now, like, my life thrives on frustration, aggravation, and inflammation. So that's the direction. Yeah. Seriously. It's right now my energy is pissed off. And right. I think it's a very important form of energy is being angry and pissed off.
Oh yeah.
And that's the form of energy that I carry right now. And a lot of people are ashamed of anger, and they're ashamed of frustration, and they're ashamed of the pain in their body. And to me, it needs to be released. And there's no better form to release it than to shout into a camera at the top of your lungs.
I fucking agree. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. When you're passionate about whatever topic it is, it's definitely a release to get on here and be narcissistic and act like people give a shit about what you have to say, and just fucking say it, screaming into a fucking tunnel. Even if nobody watches it, fuck it, whatever, But it's still a release,
It's tough. It's tough because people, you're not allowed to be angry anymore. You're not allowed to be hateful anymore. You're not allowed to be, aggressive anymore. But this is a very important part of the human being. Hate and anger and aggressiveness is a very, very, very potent fuel. And I think it's if you can harness it and focus it, I think it's very healthy. It's very healthy.
For sure. For sure. Getting anger out, for sure. Man, I'm fucking feeling like an asshole right here, not drinking with this guy, you know?
Oh, he is. You're just one, Trevor. But yeah, you know what? Since I haven't drank beer or any alcohol in 3.5 years, haven't smoked weed in who knows how long, haven't done anything. I'm a whole different person now. It's like the anger does build up, and it's just funny because I feel like I guess a lot of those I was using to mask other things, and now I feel like this is the real me. You know, it's just crazy. It just that whole weed perspective you have, I really liked it.
Well, you know something, Jason. It's funny because we drink. You know, listen, everybody I know drinks. You know, we drink, and but the bottom line is, I drink, but I realize that I'm poisoning myself, and smoking weed is actually beneficial to your health. It's great for. It has anti-inflammatory properties. It's great. It's supposed to prevent early onset Alzheimer's, and it's like, what am I doing? I'm sitting here drinking when I could be just smoking weed, and I don't have to wake up the next morning with a hangover. The thing that cracks me up, this is the thing that cracks me up. In Massachusetts, they banned vaping.
Oh wow!
Because like 12 people died of upper respiratory problems. So the doctors blame that on vaping, right? So they banned vaping. I said, "What the fuck about cigarettes?"
Yeah. I mean, that's all fucking
cigarettes, no problem.
That's all lobbying from fucking big cigarette fucking companies. You know what I'm saying? That's all fucking them in the pockets of politicians, you know, lobbying for all that shit. I mean,
this is why you can't take anything too seriously. Just like, you know, fuck me.
But let me ask you, because we've been kind of going back and forth. But now that we have a chance to talk like this, all right, I'm going to bring up something major, all right? I've told you in the past that Gradius 2 for the Famicom is better.
I love how this is major.
This is major. This is fucking major.
Yeah.
Gradius 2 for the Famicom is better than the PC Engine Gradius 2. It's even better than the arcade port of Gradius 2. Now, the question I have is, did you actually honestly play the Famicom port yet?
No, I don't have enough. I don't have enough time with it. I played a little bit of it. Okay, but that is huge. If what you say is true, that is huge, and I'll tell you why. Because I have played Gradius 2 on the Famicom, but not enough.
Right.
That is huge because Gradius 2 on the PC Engine is. So well, I will revisit that. Let
me ask you this. Compared to other Gradius games, I'm sure you've played 4 and 5. The shield, you know, kind of got better with age. You know, like in the PC Engine and arcade port, it seems like you can not even be touching the top or the bottom, and it's eating away your fucking shield. Like the hit detection's off on the shield. And on Gradius 5, it's not really like that. On the Gradius 2 port for the Famicom, it's not really like that. It's just constantly like eating your shield.
Because those versions of the game are for cunts. What more do you want me to tell you?
Maybe that's why I can no death run that game, but not the PC Engine version. I'm just being a cunt, and I don't want to play the harder version of the game.
Listen. I'd love to sit here and tell you I'm an aficionado games, but I'm not. And I got news for you. I find it interesting, but I'd have to play them more. To be honest with you, my experience is on the PC Engine. Gradius 2. I don't have much experience with the later I mean, even Gradius 5.
Can you beat?
I played it momentarily.
Can you beat Gradius 2 on the PC Engine? Have you ever beat it?
No, I haven't yet.
No. I think that's one of the next games I'm gonna try and tackle. Is I'm gonna try and finally deal with the hit detection shit on the shield, and just fucking power through that.
Why
game.
You haven't beat it?
No, not that not that version.
Turn off your microphone, you embarrassment.
I gotta beat R-Type as well, man. Like I suck at
Good
R-Type.
Good luck.
Suck
I'll
at
tell you what
game.
you're gonna need. You're gonna need turbo stick. If you do play R-Type, what are you playing it on? Because you can play it on the Sega Master System.
I have it I have it for the Master System. That's what I have it for.
Or you can play it arcade.
I have it for the Master System, and then I have a RetroPie that I can pretty much load the PC Engine version.
The PC Engine version is the way to go.
Yeah. So that's what I'll probably do.
A little bit of flicker, but man, it's on, Oh, it's so good.
You know what I find really interesting though is, and I don't know how much you know about this, but and I'm not really that educated on it, but like you take Life Force, Salamander, right, and the NES port, right? It only had 2 options, whereas you take the smaller 60-pin counterpart Salamander that came out for the Famicom, and they figured out a way with those mappers to put out 3 options, and then by the time you get to Gradius 2, they figured out a way to get all 4 options, and then as for Parodius Da as well, they figured out a way to get 4 options on the screen. But because of the American policies, Nintendo of America, they didn't allow those custom mappers. From what I understand, I could be spouting fucking gibberish right now. That makes no sense. But from what I understand, the policy from Nintendo of America didn't allow these custom mappers, so we got stuck with 2 options for every Gradius Life Force game that came out. But I find that fascinating, and I didn't discover that until I imported these games.
Yeah. Well, the thing I find fascinating is I believe that the NES Life Force version of the game is superior to Salamander on the PC Engine. It's very difficult for me to say.
Really?
Man, is that a fucking rock solid game?
It's not that hard to believe that Gradius 2 for the Famicom is better than the PC Engine version. Because that's a very similar opinion.
Interesting. That's very interesting, and I have to visit that. I have to.
So what's your reasoning behind that? Like Life Force being better than the PC Engine version?
I would say most of it is being biased and just playing the Nintendo version as a kid. You don't understand how I was married to that game.
Nostalgia.
Oh my god, the nostalgia value is so high. I mean,
Gradius was the first jet shooter game I ever played, and Life Force was the second.
Certain things tickle me about Salamander, like the transition from horizontal to vertically scrolling shooter. They show the ship turning around and stuff like that. But to me, I don't know, the NES version just grabs my heart. The music, believe it or not. I mean, the music sounds fuller and more dramatic in the PC Engine version. It's all biased on nostalgia. I'm certain of it.
I mean, I themed my entire channel around the fucking soundtrack of Life Force, so
it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, listen, I got here we go, right next to me here. It's I put this on all the time, and I think to myself, what is it? What was there, a woman that did this soundtrack?
I'm not sure on that. Let me look.
I thought she was abroad. And I listen to it and I say, "Oh my god. It's the most wonderful creative music that you ever heard on a video game soundtrack. It's fantastic." Was I dropping names right there, pulling out records?
But I think you might be right that it's a chick. But man, they have that one
Well, there was a
track
chick that
on
did,
Gradius
there was
3.
a chick that did the Mega Man music, right?
See
The
that?
Capcom.
I'm not sure. I
I think there was a broad that did that
I'm
too.
definitely not an aficionado on the composers. That's not something I'm.
That's okay. That's okay. But what I want to know is, I want to know where she was when she composed the music. Like, where did she do it? Did she do it in an office in a cubicle? Did she do it in like a studio setting? Did she do it in her apartment on like a home rig that maybe Konami let her take home? These are the curiosities. Those are the types of things I find so fascinating.
Yeah.
What was her background? Did her mother make her play violin when she was young?
And
where did she get a sense of timing? No, seriously.
I've talked to Joel about it before, specifically on Gradius. Joel, the last gamer.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking about, they have a Gradius book that contains, and they had it on Play Asia, and it contains like interviews from like a lot of the games that were made. You know, the developers and composers, just interviews, and it's all in Japanese. So it's like, fuck, how do I get that translated? I really want to read that fucking book.
It's lost. It's lost. This is the big problem. This is my fascination with the PC Engine. I wish I could speak to game developers with a translator and just get the idea of where they were, not working on the game, where they were in their life.
Yeah.
And how important that was to them at the time. Maybe it was important. Maybe they were a bigger computer programmer and they did that as a side job just to get the bills paid. And it wasn't important. But I want to know that. And I want to know if maybe this was a big project for them and it was like a real honor to work on it.
Right.
You know? Or was it just something that everybody did and you did a video game music to just to get by,
I think
to get to something different.
I think
to work for Toyota.
It's a coin flip with each one, because like you have Thomas Happ that did the Axiom Verge game right recently, and I think the game music on Axiom Verge is great. But I
want it. I don't have it yet. I want.
Well, he came out and said that the music for him was the easiest thing to do. But then you have like Koshi. Is it Koshi
I love
Kondo?
it. I love it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. I love it. He programs an entire like Metroid style game, and he's like, yeah, the easiest part was the music. It's like, It's like, okay, you're so welling with talent. You're making me sick, dude.
Right.
Like I watch this fucking guy. I watch this fucking guy on YouTube who he builds automatons, which are like these like little brass figurines that you turn a crank, and like there's a guy like he like hammers a thing, or you all remember like the rooster on the lawn. Somebody had the thing would spin and the rooster would peck its nose. He builds these out of brass, and then he made a painting where the eyes would follow you wherever you walked in the room. But he says we need to make the painting first, and he paints this beautiful like fine art portrait, and then he winds up and then he carves something into brass with a hammer and chisel. And I say, this guy, number one, is a phenomenal machinist. He's a phenomenal artist painting. He's a phenomenal sculptor. I say, you know what? You're fucking making me sick with all your talent. And some people are like that. They have this talent that just oozes all over the place. They make you sick. And you say to yourself, how do you compete with somebody like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you watching a fucking Bithead video and he's making these fucking, you know.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah, you're like, look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Dude, that
fucking penis cabinet. How do you compete with a guy that makes a penis cabinet?
Dude, the video with all the masking tape, dude, that was insane. I mean, like you said in the video, until the point where you wanted to kill yourself, or no, it drove you insane.
Because that's the difference between me and a true artist. And I'll tell you that right now, Trevor. Okay? Let me give you an example. See my little Xevious portrait that I'm so proud of right here? Okay? what would take like a real artist about 2 hours to paint, that took me about two fucking months. That's the no, we laugh, but that's the difference between a true artist and somebody that wants to be an artist. It's time. It's the true artist can do it like effortlessly.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And the guy that thinks he's an artist, it takes him fucking forever. And what taught me that was a 13-year-old girl that I met at a fucking dinner party. It wasn't even that I went to my brother-in-law's to have fucking dinner. And I saw a 13-year-old girl there, and she was scribbling in a pad. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she turned the pad around, and it was a portrait of the entire room with all the people in it.
Fuck.
Me included. And when I tell you right now, it looked like a fucking black and white photograph.
Jesus.
And I said, "Oh my God." I said to her, "That is incredible." And you know what she thought of it?
Meh.
Nothing
Not
much.
even my best work.
Nothing much.
Wow.
And I said to her, I said, "Listen, you need to listen to," I said, "whatever you do in your life, make sure that you pursue this right here." And she thought like it was insignificant.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I can't fucking draw like stick people barely.
Bullshit.
I can't draw. I can probably learn. I'm not saying I can't learn.
Yeah, but I bet you, if I gave you the supplies and we were just all having a good time hanging out and had all the time in the world, you would draw something really good. That's way better.
Well, here's the thing. You know, some people can paint the Mona Lisa. My theory is everybody can paint the Mona Lisa. It just might take somebody 30 years to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the difference. That's the difference between the true artist that can bang it out in a few days and the guy that doesn't know how to paint, but he can do
like
it in
the
30
idiot
years.
versus the.
Yeah.
But that brings up a question: is what got you into carpentry? Where does this background in carpentry and just all together?
Trevor. It took me a long time to even say this. It's in my blood. My grandfather was a carpenter. My father is a mechanic, a construction worker. Okay. My mother is an artist, a phenomenal artist, like watercolor, acrylic, this, that, the other thing.
Right.
And I'm not to be honest with you, I'm not an artist. I'm a Chanteloon carpenter. I'll be the first to admit it to you. I can cobble it together.
Yeah.
I can cobble it together. And that's the God's honest truth.
Well,
right?
You seem to do a pretty good job by my standards, at least.
It's
my father was a structural welder, and let me tell you, none of that shit rubbed off on me. Not a fucking thing. You know. You don't know that, Trevor. You don't know that. Have you ever welded? I have. I did a decent job, right? But to fucking do, I mean, I'm talking this guy fucking worked on, they have this casino, Riverboat Casino. I think it's still open to this day. It's called the Treasure Chest Casino. And he fucking worked on that fucking boat. I mean, like, they had him fucking do all the fucking metal work on this fucking boat, talking about, like, the frame to the decorative shit, everything that needed to be welded on this fucking boat and constructed, he fucking did it. And it's just like, dude, I can't fucking, maybe.
Where is your father?
He's still living. They live a few minutes away from my house.
Still working?
No. He's
retired.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for
him. That's you know what?
He didn't die from fucking lymphoma or whatever. You know, like
you
a
know
lot
what
of
he
other
is.
welders
You don't want to
died.
know what he is? He's a very special person. He's a professional.
Yeah.
And he had a craft, and he was a master at his craft. Not a lot of people can say that, and that's a beautiful thing to be able to say.
Yeah. That was one thing about him, man. Like, people far and wide would like ask for him to fucking come and weld. You know, He was one of the guys that it wasn't like, you know, he'd half-ass it. If he was going to do it, he was going to fucking do it. And he got the reputation of being asked for all the fucking time. Even as a kid, like, I'm not working with this dude, but I know he had that fucking reputation just from the little I saw, you know?
It's fantastic. It's like I watch boat builders on YouTube. That's my favorite thing to do is watch boat builders on YouTube. People building boats. People have this dream, this wonderful dream. And that's what the thing that we need to understand as human beings. We are only alive because of our dreams. And somebody told me that once, and it pissed me off beyond belief. He told me we're only alive because of the dreams we have. Fuck is he talking about? You know, and because I didn't have any dreams.
Yeah.
And that really upset me. And now as I get older, I realize that he's right, and I get even more pissed off because I didn't realize it when I was young. And I watch these guys who build boats. They build boats because they want to do what? They want to sail them around the world. And they meet the most incredible people along the way. It's just like,
right.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm fucking hammered now. Dude, I'm hammered. What am I gonna tell you? I'm happy.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, I think we pretty much answered a lot of questions tonight that people probably had on their mind for a while.
I'm super glad we did this. I didn't know how it was gonna work out, but I'm really happy. And I think you guys have a wonderful, wonderful podcast going here. I really do.
Thanks,
I think
man.
you guys got big things going on.
Means a lot.
It's no small feat, Trevor, and I want you to realize this, that you got me onto your podcast, and you did get me onto the podcast. Just like you did get me into a phone call with you. You're a very special person. You have a very good gift.
Oh, yeah?
You do.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, you know. But I definitely want to thank you for coming on the show. I had a fucking blast doing it, you know. I hope you did too. Jason, you got
I had a
anything
great
to
time.
add?
I'm actually sorry it's going to end now.
Hey, we can keep on.
really am.
We can keep
I'm
on
like,
going
I'm like,
if
we're
you
just
want.
Well, I think Jason needs to get to bed now.
Blame me. Nah, I mean,
No,
the
I'm
same
just
words as
kidding. I'm
Trevor,
just
man.
kidding.
It was awesome having you, man. Like I said, I started binge watching your stuff. The only reason is Trevor. When I met Trevor, he's all like, "Have you heard of Bithead? What? Like, no." And I had never heard of you. And then, you know, just like anyone else, I subbed it, but I just never saw the videos. And when I finally watched them, it took me a while, but I got hooked. I'm like, dude. Like just what you do is something way different. If anyone's listening and if people already made up their mind, they heard you, they're gonna go to your channel because your content is something that I've never seen before. And I was in another podcast, right, called Level 857. Really good guys, and I followed them, and they had this guy Mad Little Pix on there, and they asked him, "Who do you watch?"
Yes.
Who do you watch?
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
He said your name. He's like, dude, like he's not like, he doesn't give a fuck, basically. He was saying, but he said in his own words. And yeah, dude, it's just really awesome when I hear other people say who you are now that I know, and then have the show is just, man, it's an honor, man. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. And I want to say to all the people that have been with me through all the years that you have no idea how grateful I am, because these people have stood behind me. It's crazy, man. It really is. These people have really been my backbone and have gotten me through the roughest of times. I tell you right now, I couldn't be here right now. I could not be here right now without these people. And I'm so grateful for them. My audience is really like...
You definitely have one of the greatest fandoms I've seen. The most loyal fans, you know, genuine, caring fans out of everybody that I've seen. You know, it's crazy.
I could tell you stories of people that have emailed me just to tell me how the show's affected their lives, and that's affected my life. And it really has made me want to push forward. Because there have been so many times, Trevor, I can't tell you how many times where I just still thought about taking that camera and throwing it in the fucking garbage. And I'm not kidding you, bro. I mean, I could tell you so many times. I felt like hanging it up and just walking away, and like these guys just keep on pulling me in, and they really are. They are the wind beneath my wings, and that sounds so fucking corny.
Gay.
But it's so true,
but it's
man.
True too.
So
it's true.
It's so true, and that's why I fight. That's why I fight like I do today, because I fight for them.
Right.
And that's the truth. That's the truth, man. And I tell you right now, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking have it, bro.
Well,
Trevor, this was a good time, man.
Yeah, dude, I really appreciate you coming on, man. And you know, to anyone else out there who hasn't checked out Bithead1000, do yourself a favor. It's unlike any other experience out there. It's not edited like a Philip DeFranco video. He's not gonna start off the video saying, "Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?" No, he might, you know, drink coffee for the first 30 seconds of the video, or it might be 2 minutes of the video. But once he starts
You're gonna
talking,
have to put up with a lot of shit.
Once he starts talking, it's gonna be very relatable, and you're gonna fucking enjoy it. So go check out Bithead1000, and definitely another thing is you're gonna be starting to stream video games pretty soon, right? Is that something that you wanna maybe announce that you wanna?
Sure. I'm gonna do Twitch. I gotta figure out how to stream on Twitch, YouTube at the same time. You gotta understand, I'm an old good dog trying to learn new tricks, man. But what I want to do is I want to try to stream some of my favorite video games, your favorite video games coming up, and we'll have a great time playing them. And I'm trying to, you know, do it on Twitch. We did a little demo the other day, Trevor.
Right.
Yeah, but that worked out really well, and that's about it.
Yeah. So definitely people take a look.
What you need to know is big plans on the horizon for the Bithead1000 show. I got a lot of goals I want to reach, and a lot of builds that I want to do. I got a renewed energy for builds. I don't really give a fuck about YouTube now and their little system. I got some builds I want to do because that's what I was meant to do, and so that's what we're gonna do.
Right, roger that. But as far as streaming and to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, I got you on that. I already got the answer for that, so let me know when you're ready to do that.
I couldn't do it without Trevor. Trevor's helped me out a tremendous amount. I mean, listen, I talk about Trevor all the time on the show. This guy is a really big support piece for me, and I'm really grateful for it.
Well, again, I want to thank everybody for watching. This was Over the Top Podcast with Overthink Gaming, myself, Top Loaded Gaming, and of course, Bithead1000. Tune in next time. We'll see you in about 2 weeks.
Thanks, Trevor. Thanks, Jason. Let me start by saying I can't tell you how jealous I am that Trevor can fire up a cigarette in his own home.
You know what?
That's a real. Look at him. That's a real man right there.
He doesn't give a fuck, man. People tell him shit. Oh, in the game collection, why you smoking? Just fucking light another one up, man.
That's killing me.
Who's worse though, me or Jesse for buying that Bucky O'Hare from me that he knows I'm smoking in here? So who's worse on that front?
It's all right. I used about a half a can of Brasso on it. If I see blood, I pass out. That's number one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I pass right out. I always wondered, like, how could I ever be a soldier, like, be on a battlefield or something like that? I would pass out.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I could do it, but I'm not squeamish about blood.
I went to a concert. It was a band called the Candy Snatchers, and the guy smashed a bottle over his head, but it kind of went wrong. Oh, shit. And this sheet of blood came out of his forehead. And just like a sheet of blood, like when you watch Friday the 13th in the intro, you know how they cut the intro screen and like blood folds out. I was like, this guy's gonna die on stage, and he did the rest of the concert bleeding like that.
No shit.
And I was so queasy that I had to go to the bar and get water.
Well,
I'm at this is at CBGB's, and I'm ordering water at the bar. You know, so you know, listen.
Well, doing backyard wrestling back in the day, I saw a similar situation, but the guy got it in his calf. They were breaking, what is it, fluorescent light bulbs, the big fucking long fluorescent light bulbs over each other's head. And a shard just went straight in his calf, man. Straight in his calf.
Wait,
like,
what were you guys doing?
This long. Backyard wrestling. Backyard wrestling.
Dude, that's such a Louisiana thing, you fuck.
Yeah. I got
You
sucked
don't see
into
that
it.
around New York, man. That's all down south. You guys are crazy.
I got sucked into it, but I was filming actually at that point. So I'm filming it happening, and like one of the guys points out, I'm not filming the dude's leg. He's like, look his leg, and I'm filming, and he pulls it out right as I'm getting the camera over his leg, and it just starts squirting. Plop, 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 plop.
I can't, dude. I can't.
Rushed him to the hospital. Like, he almost died. Like, it severed some artery, whatever the artery or whatever it is. Like, he almost died. He almost bled out. So, I knew then that I wasn't really that squeamish.
It would be a real American tragedy to lose a backyard wrestler.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. he almost received the Darwin's Award.
Oh my God! Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. When we were kids, we used to go into the dumpster and fish out the fluorescent light bulbs, like you said, and we used to smash them over each other's heads.
Oh shit!
But now, at my job now, we have hazmat training, and one of the most dangerous things is a broken fluorescent light bulb. That white powder in there,
it's toxic.
It's like a high test carcinogen.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? We used to drink that white powder.
What about when we were kids? You'd be playing with the thermometer. You'd break the thermometer and you'd be playing
with
like
your
a
asshole?
No, like you'd break the thermometer and you'd be playing around with the mercury inside.
Oh, that's old school right there.
Oh, really old school. Like I was maybe 3 years old playing with mercury in my hand.
Hey,
this explains a lot, by the way, Trevor.
Yep. It wasn't paint chips. It was mercury.
You know, my father used to. My father used to say that they would actually put the mercury in their mouth.
Wow.
I swear to God, we were just talking about this. My father's got a thermometer collection of all things. This is what happens when you can't get it up anymore. You got fucking thermometer. No, I'm only joking. But I don't want to even think about whether my father can get it up or not. But yeah, he has a thermometer collection, and he put it in like a case and whatnot, and they're all old mercury thermometers.
Wow. That's why I say, man, you can't. People can collect whatever the hell they want. You know, people are gonna judge gamers or whatever for collecting, like, you know, the weird shit people collect. But anyways, let's at least start.
I got a guy at work that collects his toenails in a jar.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's exactly what I'm saying.
And I've joked about that before. I've joked about wanting to do that, and he told me that he did it. Oh my God, I hit the floor.
These people are out there. These people, they exist.
Yeah.
Can you imagine presenting somebody like you got company over and you bring up your jar of toenails and it's like filled to the brim? I would be impressed.
Yeah, I
would be impressed. I'd be like, wow, a whole fucking jar of toenail clippings. It's amazing.
Y'all saw the guy that was collecting his sperm. He put like a
collecting what?
His sperm. His cum.
Yes.
He put I don't know if it was a joke. I don't know if it was a joke or or not, but he put, like, if the guy's a brony or not, the people that like My Little Pony, but he put a My Little Pony thing in a jar and he buried it in a like a mason jar.
What are you talking about? My Little Pony? What?
He put like one of those toy My Little Pony horses in like a mason jar, and he filled it up. Like it was a video that
this
this
is
guy
a whole
Wang
new level
did.
of creepy.
I'm just saying these people exist. They are out there.
I was talking to a guy at work today. He was telling me about these real Ghostbusters action figures that are coming out or whatever. And all I could think about is when I went to go see Ghostbusters in the movie theater, by the way.
Right.
After we left the movie theater, we went to Friendly's, and my cousin had a Reese's peanut butter sundae. Remember those?
I can't say that I have.
This is going way back. All right. He gets to the bottom of the Reese's peanut butter sundae, and there's a fucking tissue in the. It used to come in this big like glass. You know what I mean? It was like a big wine glass, and then he gets to the bottom. He puts his spoon in, and it comes up with a big piece of tissue paper. That's how I remember Ghostbusters. I don't know why I thought about it. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but hey,
it's all good. It's all good.